Hmm. Okay. So maybe I've been misinterpreting your question because the example you brought up that kind of puts it into a different perspective. You're trying to I guess you're trying to draw comparisons between what you just brought up and then
Oh, I mean, for a Christian, any justice, right?
mm,
How would I know the difference? How between divine justice and just regular justice? How
mm,
does one know the difference? When something has happened to someone and the person that did it gets punished for it, how can I tell if it's divine justice or just regular justice?
hmm. I guess how you could tell, I I guess it would kind of depend on, I want to say, authority, scope, and probably motivation as well.
What
Now,
is
how we know, for example, how we know exactly, like for a fact, certainty.
Yeah, because that seems like no offense. It feels like you're making it up on the fly, which I'm impressed, but it feels like that's just something you feel it should be rather than that's what it definitively is, right? Like, because if I ask another Christian, hey, what is divine, vengeance? They're gonna give me a different answer. And if I ask somebody else what is divine, like is it something that's clear across the board that you're about to tell me, or is it subject to the person who's been violated?
Well, I want to say that it's subjective, the things I listed, and I would even add epistemic position to those other three things. But I mean, the my thing is it is objective, but I guess when it comes to how we know a thing, I don't believe that's something that we can know for certainty as humans. So I don't. So to answer your question, I don't know if I can give you an answer that makes it 100% certain. You know.
But I don't know if I again, only reason why I'm saying thank you is because I know that you're trying to give us an answer, but I don't know if we still understand the difference between divine
Mhm.
vengeance and just regular old. I don't remember what was the other part, Lords.
Like human justice.
Yeah, human justice, right? Like I'm not sure, like because the divine that comes from the human mind, right? What you deem as divine, I know you guys believe that there's a Lord who's telling you these things, but ultimately that's on the human to define what divine is and what isn't. It's when we look at that story that Lord's brought up about, the Amalekites, right? You would say that that's divine vengeance, right?
Mhm.
Whereas we're like, these people weren't doing anything. This was like what 400 years later, and they were being murked. When again, it wouldn't be vengeance because they lost that war. They lost. So, what? But if I wanted to take out vengeance on somebody who hurt my child, right? And that vengeance being them going to jail or me murking them too. You know what I'm saying? Like, then that's when, oh, well, because we don't know if that came from a God, right? That's just human justice. And, we don't know if that's sanctioned by God or not. So, you're being selfish or, all these other things are put on top of that.
Mhm.
I'm trying to understand how what's the difference.
Oh well. To that point, I'm not even saying that human justice is something that's not sanctioned. I believe it is sanctioned in Christianity. Now, the thing I don't believe is sanctioned is just revenge.
Can I jump in real quick? First off, my new name is grandson of Kalu because he just sunned the fuck out of me.
I saw you in the comments.
I'm gonna hold it. Okay.
Wait, Bash. I just want to say we all hope Mama Bash is doing great. We sending lots of love and light to her.
Thank you so much. She texted me right before they put her to sleep. So
that's
I'm
good.
waiting to hear back from her now.
Okay.
Okay, so this is gonna take me about 3 minutes to set up, but I promise you it has a point. So y'all already talked about the Amalekites and how God came and told the prophet to tell Saul, "Hey, go take vengeance, specifically vengeance on the Amalekites for this thing that they did." Okay. Question 1, AC: when is the last time God told someone to do that?
You said when is the last time God told someone to take vengeance?
Yes. When is the last time God told somebody, or the last time that you can recall? Maybe you don't know the very last time. When was the last time you can recall that God said, "Okay, go get them back for that"?
I'm not too sure.
Okay, all right. I'm figured you wouldn't be. All right. Do you know the story of Nat Turner?
Nat Turner.
Nat Turner.
Mm-mm.
Nat Turner was a reverend in the South during slavery in about 18. I want to say in the 1840s. I want to say in the 1840s. I might be wrong about that, but sometime in the early 1800s, he was a preacher, and he was reading the Bible, and he actually read the story of the Amalekites, and God told him to take vengeance. And so what he did was he went around and started killing slave owners, and he killed a bunch of them. He started a thing called Nat Turner's Rebellion, and he killed as many people as he hands on. Was that righteous judgment?
Well, I'll probably say no, it's not righteous judgment.
Okay, but it was in the Amalekite situation?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Is there a reason that you deem those two differently? Both of them came from a man of God saying that God said. Is there a reason that you deem those two differently?
Well, so I guess my thing is that when it comes to, I guess now we're in a different stage of, I believe it's something like revelation is past now, and we're in a new age in which
God doesn't speak.
God doesn't directly tell people to do things of that nature.
God doesn't speak at all. Like of what nature? Like God doesn't tell people to do anything?
No, more so God doesn't, I guess, directly command people to do things of that nature anymore.
Okay. Is there something? Let me ask. Is there something that happened to where God stopped telling people to do that, or is there a scripture that we can read that says, "Okay, from here on out, I won't say this"?
A scripture, not necessarily a scripture we can read, but more so yeah, I think it's, I want to say it's because maybe, well, not maybe, but rather God the way he was speaking in the Bible and in the passages, it's something like it was tied. I want to say it was tied to like something akin to like a unique historical task.
Okay. Okay.
I guess another point. I want to say also, well, you guys are probably going to disagree, but the new
It's okay.
covenant changes. I do believe the new covenant changes also how God governs.
Okay.
And
That's fair.
and you know, I also agree with the fact that Jesus is the final and like full revelation.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Okay. Two more questions, I think.
mhm.
God promised Israel the land of Israel. Do we agree?
God promised Israel the land of Israel.
Like the land of Canaan, technically, but yes, God promised the nation of Israel. He promised them that certain land mass. Do you agree?
Oh,
We can read it if you'd like, but
yeah.
you
Let's.
do agree, or would you like to read it?
Yeah. Point to me the verse
Okay.
you're referring to when you say
Hold
that.
on 1 second. Hold on just a second. We could just go to Hebrews 12:25, where it's called the promised land for a reason. He promised them the land.
Okay, yeah, no, like that's fine.
Okay, so God promised them the land, but He told that in order to get the land, that they would have to drive out the inhabitants of the land. Do we agree?
Wait, say that one more time. Sorry.
In order for them to possess the land, they had to drive out the inhabitants of the land. Do we agree?
Yeah.
We can read that too. Oh, okay, you do agree. Okay, and that included the Hivites and the Jebusites and the Amalekites and all the ites. Do we agree to that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there are currently Palestinians living in that land.
Mm-hmm.
God promised that land to Israel. They are moving on the promise of God by moving those people out of that land,
Mm-hmm.
by driving them out by any means necessary. Is that the word of God? I mean, we can read that it is, but are you saying that somehow that promise was supposed to stop?
I want to say that whenever it comes to the whole Israel thing, it's while it does say it promises the land of Israel, it's kind of wait. First of all, question: Are you referring to the like Mosaic covenant when you're talking about this?
Well, it's more than just the covenant of Moses, but he started that covenant actually with Abraham, that he was going to give him a land, right? And he continued it with Moses, but the covenant actually started with Abraham.
Okay. So yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so it started with Moses. It starts with Abraham. It continues with Isaac and Jacob. Then it continues to Moses, and then they finally established that land. And then the promise that that land would always be ruled by them, and the descendants move on to David. And then that promise, is the narrative that Jesus comes in under. So if Jesus is the Lion of the tribe of Judah, if he is the King of the Jews, then the land mass that he was king of, the land mass, not spiritually, but physically speaking, the land mass is the land mass of Israel.
Okay.
Okay. So do we agree that that's still true?
It's still true.
That promise is still there.
I believe the promise at least, according to the New Testament, I think it's expanded from land to like just new creation in of itself.
So did God break his promise? Here's why I ask. Because God actually promised them a certain tract of land that the Palestinians are currently living in. Did he change that promise? Did he say, okay, never mind, not that part?
I want to say that the promise was something like conditional.
It wasn't. He made this promise several times, and the first promise that he made was to Abraham, and it had no conditions. The condition was that he was going to give them a land, specifically a land that flowed from here to here, with no conditions. And all they, well, I take that back. There was one condition. The condition was they had to drive out the inhabitants. And God was with them, and they went about and they was driving out the inhabitants.
So,
Right? That's when they got to fighting the AI, when they got to fighting the Jebusites, when they got to fighting the Canaanites. Right? God was with them, and but there are still, and even the Palestinians. I don't know if you know this. Did you know that Palestinians are the same people as the Philistines in the Bible? Did you know that?
oh yeah.
Okay. Some people didn't know that, but Palestinians, Philistines, same group of people. Okay, and you know how God feels about the Philistines, right? That's what the whole story of Samson was about. You know how God feels about the Philistines, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, he don't like them, right? And you know David went down there and chopped them up a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but they were still around in the land. Point was, they hadn't expelled them yet, and they're still there. Right? Okay, all right. That being the case, did God change his mind about the promise of that land? There's a reason I'm asking this.
You're saying with that being the case, with the God changes. So I just want to make sure I understand what you're saying. You don't think that idolatry was like a condition to this thing?
No. At least he never made that a condition. There was no point at which he said, hey, y'all did this thing, so my promise of the land is gone. At no point. Now he would punish them for things, and he would say, hey, y'all did this thing, so y'all gonna go be servants up there for 70 years, and I'm gonna bring you back. Or you did this thing, so I'm gonna let the Assyrians come down and do this to you, but then I'm gonna bring you back. So out of all the things they did wrong, he never said, okay, you can't come back here.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So
shout out Big Cosmine. Cos says, what morals and ethics does atheism teach, or is it just a subjective belief? I think
I'm gonna do
atheism
this thing to you.
is actually the
And he just, I mean,
lack of a belief
Israel
in
doesn't
someone's
go without
claim
its whoopings.
of a God.
Right? Israel doesn't go without its whoopings. But not at any point in time did God say to them, you can't have the land I promise you. It's still called the promised land to this day.
Yeah, it's still called the promised land to this day. But I think that that's in reference of the Old Testament, I would say.
Yes, the promise started in the Old Testament.
But I don't think, I guess my thing is the New Testament makes a lot of these.
Is there anything in the New Testament that said, I am breaking my promise with Abraham?
I mean,
anything that says I'm breaking my promise with Isaac or Jacob?
Well, my thing is, I don't necessarily think something explicitly has to be stated in order.
Is there anything that infers it? I'll take that. Is there anything to infer that I'm breaking my promise with Abraham?
Yeah. So I mean, go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So yeah, I mean, I think that when it comes to the idea of expanding it to a new what's it called? just a new world. What did I say again? New world.
You're just saying it expanded it basically spiritually, but I'm not
A
talking
new
about spiritually.
creation. That was it. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not talking about that old word is gonna pass away till it all be fulfilled, and it hadn't all been fulfilled yet. Because they don't have the promised land yet. So it would seem as though that there's still a contingency plan for that land, and Israel is currently fighting people for that land right now, today. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Are they going against the word of God, or are they moving pro the word of
God? Are they going against the word of God? I mean, it depends on in what sense you're referring to.
In any sense of the word, in any sense you'd like to bring up, are they going against what God promised them? Or are they going for what God promised them?
Well, I mean, I guess we just might have a completely different interpretations, because the way
not even interpretation. Listen what I'm asking. As far as the land of Israel is concerned. Now, and again, there comes a time when we can read this, where Israel will do the same thing to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
But that hasn't come yet. So as far as that promise of that land, are those people moving pro the word of God or against the word of God?
Yeah. To answer your question, I must admit, I don't think that, like, I don't think it's necessarily about the land anymore. Like, I think we've shifted. The promise is it's not been, I guess, revoked.
The promise hasn't been revoked. Okay, fair. All right. And if the promise hasn't been revoked, and he told them this is how you get it, right? Are they moving pro that word or against that word?
No, like, I mean, to finish my point, I'm saying that it's not been revoked, but it's been transcended. Like, so it's not just about the land. It's about just the new creation in of itself.
No, it's about the land. We can read that it's about the land. It's definitely about the land. And there's going to come a time when they do this to the whole earth. So say the New Testament. Okay. But this is definitely about land. Definitely about land. And we can read it.
Okay, yeah. Pull up the verse for it.
Let's go to Isaiah 13. And I'm going to show you that Jesus mentions the same thing.
You've never read this before, AC? Like, this has never been taught to you, or you never come across this at all?
Well, so I've been to a couple lives where they say, he's talking about, what's it called? Is the ethnic Israel people only, and he's talking about, their land. But I've never really heard about. I guess I've never really heard the arguments for it. So I'm curious as to what the arguments for it are.
I want to lay out. I don't mean he's just talking about natural born Israelites. By the way, I don't mean that. I'm granting the new covenant where there are these new people who join with Israel. But you'll see what I mean. You'll get what I'm saying. Do you have a Bible in front of you? I don't have a Bible in front of me. I'm sorry.
No.
Can anybody pull this up for me?
Isaiah 13.
What are you looking for?
Yeah.
Isaiah 13. I'm only going to read maybe I ain't going to get all the way down to the 16. I just need like the first 5 verses, I believe.
I got it.
Go ahead, son.
The oracle concerning Babylon that Isaiah son of Amos saw: on a bare hill, raise a signal, cry aloud to them, wave the hand for them to enter the gates of the nobles.
Hold on just 1 second, Kalu. Hold on 1 second. By the way, I want to, because you believe that these promises are transcendent, right? do you believe that this prophecy, when he speaks to Babylon, do you think he's only talking to Iraq or Iran?
Wait, say that again?
Because you believe that these prophecies are transcendent, like these promises are transcendent, they expand. When we read the word Babylon, do you read Babylon as the wicked world system, or specifically the country that is currently Iraq?
That's a good question.
A specific world system.
Yeah, like some people, when they read like Babylon in Revelation 18, when it says, "Come out of Babylon, my people," right? They use that word Babylon as the world system. They're not talking about the specific land of Iraq.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Right. So when you read that word Babylon, I'm sorry, go ahead.
The word Babylon. I would probably say that, I mean, this, from what I'm hearing, I mean, so far, it sounds like it's more closer to like something divine rather than.
So not just the physical world, not just the physical land of Iraq, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this would be some system wherein which something God don't like, right? Because this is an oracle against Babylon. Right. So he's speaking against something spiritual in this, some spiritual system that he's naming Babylon. Are you agreeing with that?
Oh, okay. Sorry. I'm so sorry. When you're talking about Babylon, what Babylon is like being judged for right now?
Yes. But when we're talking about Babylon, are we saying that are we talking about the specific people in the land mass called Iraq now? Or are we talking about a grander world system in your opinion?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I would probably say that Babylon is like we're talking about like the actual
land. Okay, fair enough. Okay, cool. Yeah. All right, keep that in mind. Okay, just keep that in mind. Okay, don't change that. Are you stamping into that?
Yeah, I'd probably say yeah.
Okay, locked in. Okay, keep going.
I'll start again from one. Yes, the oracle concerning Babylon that Isaiah son of Amos saw. On a bare hill, raise a signal, cry aloud to them, wave the hand for them to enter the gates of the nobles. I myself have commanded my consecrated ones, have summoned my warriors, my proudly exalting ones, to execute my anger. Listen, a tumult on the mountains, as of a great multitude. Listen, an uproar of kingdoms, of nations gathering together. The Lord of hosts is mustering an army for battle. They come from a distant land, from the end of the heavens, the Lord and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole earth.
All right, now what are they coming to destroy, AC?
Yeah, it said to destroy the whole earth.
Okay, this is why I asked earlier if you just meant the land of Babylon, but even if you just mean specifically that land, the promise is not just about that specific group of people. This is a promise to destroy the whole thing, right? Okay, and now you said it was about physical people. Okay, so I'm stick with you on that. Okay, all right, and I'm well. Let's keep reading it. I said I was gonna go through verse 5, but it's something specific I want to read. Keep going.
Wail, for the day of the Lord is near. It will come like destruction from the Almighty. Therefore, my hands will be feeble, and every human heart will melt, and they will be terrified. Pangs and agony will seize them. They will be in anguish like a woman in labor. They will look aghast at one another. Their faces will be aflame. See, the day of the Lord is coming, cruel, with wrath and fierce anger, to make the earth a desolation, and to destroy.
So wait. Oh yeah, to do what? And to do what?
And to destroy its sinners from it.
Okay, so there's a day coming. Now I want to keep this in mind that Israel has never defeated Babylon ever. Okay, so this is a prophecy of something to come. Okay, this has not happened yet. There is no point in scripture or in history where you will find that Israel has destroyed the whole earth or overthrown Babylon or anything like that. Okay, so if we're believing that this is a true word of God, this true word of God is something that's coming later. Do we agree to that?
Okay. I kind of want to go back to the whole verse 5. Can you repeat the verse 5 again?
They come from a distant land,
Mhm.
from the end of the heavens, the Lord and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole earth.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So go ahead.
I'm sorry. Could you ask that a question again? Pink beard.
Okay. Well, what we were just saying down there is that there is this day coming in the future, because this has not happened yet. And if we are saying that this is a true prophecy of God, then this is something that's set to happen later. I'm going to show you that Jesus is going to talk about this prophecy in just a second. As a reason that I'm reading through it, Jesus is going to mention this prophecy to you again. Okay. But so this hasn't happened yet. And Jesus didn't forget about it. His favorite prophet to quote was actually Isaiah. That was his dog. He loved quoting Isaiah. First thing he ever read out of the Bible was out of Isaiah. He walked into the synagogue, read some Isaiah. This is his dog. Okay. All right. So according to him, right? According to Isaiah, there is a day coming called the day of the Lord that is cruel. Right? It's fierce anger. It's gonna be cruel, and the specific purpose is to destroy the sinners out of earth. Do we agree to that?
Well, I mean, I guess when you say earth, do you mean
Earth.
the world literally? Or you mean like land?
The whole
Earth.
the whole earth.
The whole earth. So everything on earth.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, I'd probably disagree with that.
You disagree with what Isaiah is saying, or you're disagreeing with the way I'm reading it?
Oh no, I disagree with, I guess I want to say the way you're reading, but more so like even the earth being land thing.
Okay, what else is earth?
Well, I mean earth, like as in literally just ground, land.
What else is earth? You said you didn't think it was land. I'm saying what else?
No, I'm saying because you said like world. I'm sorry, I meant to say when you said world, I disagree with that.
Okay, no, earth. I'm sorry, earth, because it says the whole earth. So let me stick to the earth. And he was coming to destroy the sinners out of the earth.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I think when he says earth, it's land, but I mean, even then, I think that this is.
But he's actually talking about destroying people, not the land.
Yeah, he's talking about
people.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
It doesn't matter. He's talking about
okay.
destroying the people.
Yeah. Earlier he said he was going to destroy the whole earth. Earlier, up in like verse 5.
Yeah.
But here would.
Yeah, but wouldn't destroying the whole earth also destroy the people?
Destroy the people.
Oh no, I'm not disagreeing with that, but I guess what I'm also trying to point out is that I do think this is not supposed to be taken literal.
Okay. I knew you was gonna go there. Let's keep going, and then I want you to tell me all the figurative language and what it is a figure for. Okay, I'll take that. But okay, I'm gonna hold you to that. But when we finish reading this, I need you to tell me this is figurative for this. This is figurative for this. Is that fair? Otherwise, we won't understand it. Is that fair?
Are you saying like for the things that I believe are hyperbole and stuff?
Yeah.
When
we get to the things, we're going to be a list of things that he's going to say he wants to do. Okay. And I want you to say, okay, that's hyperbole for this thing. This. I go ahead.
For the stars of the heavens and their constellations will not give their light. The sun will be dark at its rising, and the moon will not shed its light. That's what Jesus quoted.
We're gonna go to that quote in just a minute. Keep going.
I will punish the world for its evil, and the wicked for their iniquity. I will put an end to the pride of the arrogant, and lay low the insolence of tyrants. I will make mortals more reared than fine gold, and humans than the gold of Ophir. Therefore, I will make the heavens tremble, and the earth will be shaken out of its place, and the wrath of the Lord of hosts in the day of his fierce anger, like a gazelle on the run, or like sheep with no one to gather them. all will turn back to their own people, and all will flee to their own lands.
Okay, wait, before you go further, now let's go to Matthew 24. We're gonna come right back to this, I promise you. So wherever you are right there, just hold there. And we're going to Matthew 24 and 29.
All right. You said Matthew 24, 29.
Mm-hmm.
The coming of the Son of Man. Let me know when you're there.
You said Matthew 24, verse 29? Was it?
29, yes, sir.
All right, got you guys. All right, go ahead.
Immediately after the suffering of those days, the sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light. The stars will fall from heaven, and the powers of heaven will be shaken.
Okay, now this is a reference to what we just read in Isaiah. You see the reference?
Mm-hmm.
Right, that the sun's not going to give his light. It's going to be darkened at rising. The moon not going to give his light. The stars going to fall out of the constellations, and the foundation is going to be shaken. We just read that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is Jesus referencing Isaiah 13. Do we agree?
Yeah.
Because this only gonna happen one day, right? Like this ain't something that's gonna happen every day, right? This is a specific day that he's talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now let's go back because I want to make sure that Jesus is referencing that. Now this is also about the day of his return that we read in Matthew. Let's read that part because that's not fair. Let's read that. All right, so we should be on like verse 30, so we'll see.
Yeah, verse 30. Then the sign of the Son of Man will appear in heaven, and then all the tribes of the earth will mourn, and they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he will send out his angels with a loud trumpet call, and they will gather his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other.
Okay, all right. Now remember earlier in Isaiah 13 how it started. He said he was gathering all these people together from the ends of the heavens. Remember that, right? That he was gonna come with his weapons of indignation, and the reason that he was coming and gathering these people together was for a specific battle, right? He was going to destroy the sinners off the earth. Here's Jesus again referencing that. Hey, remember that day that Isaiah told you about when the sun ain't gonna give his light, and the moon ain't gonna give his light, and the stars gonna fall out of heaven, and everything gonna be shaken, and he gonna show up. It's gonna be a sign of the Son of Man. He's gonna gather everybody together for this battle. He's gonna get the elect, the sanctified ones, the elected ones. Remember, we read that over in Isaiah 2. The sanctified ones, the noble ones. We're gonna get them all together, and then there's a fight that's about to happen. Okay, all right. Now let's go back over to Isaiah. Let's see how this turns out.
In Isaiah 13, verse 15, whoever is found will be thrust through, and whoever is caught will fall by the sword. Their infants will be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses will be plundered, and their wives raped.
Okay, all right. So these are the things that are going to that the elected ones are coming to destroy the sinners off the planet, and this is how they're going to do it. Now, you said this may be hyperbole, which is fair. Let's start through with the thrusting through the swords. What is that a symbolism of?
I'm sorry?
You said that these things were probably hyperbole or metaphor or, something else, like they symbolize something. So that's why I said, keep that in mind, because I want to know what these are symbols of.
So when I said hyperbole, I was referring to the destroy the whole earth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you don't mean okay.
There are some descriptive natures in what he's saying, but
okay,
yeah.
So do you think that these descriptions are hyperbolous?
Well, I mean, I want to say. I mean, I don't want to say never, but oftentimes I do view religious language as symbolic, but I mean, I do think that when it comes to the descriptions of what's going to happen and stuff like that, I mean, that could actually just be what's going on.
It's not going on yet.
Yeah,
it's what's going
to happen.
Okay,
yeah.
All right. So, but I need us to make a decision about it, one way or other, right here. do you think that this is symbolic, or do you think that it is literal? You don't have to be right.
Well, I mean, I think that the whole when it comes to, you said so what was it, plunging through
with the sword.
Yeah.
Thrust through.
Yeah. I do think that, I mean, I guess I don't really. What was the specific verse for that? Just to make
Verse
sure I'm clear.
15.
13, 15.
13, 15, right? For Isaiah?
Mhm.
All right, let me see. Let me make sure. All right, let's see. Yeah, I mean, when it comes. Oh, wait. Yeah, I mean, I guess when it comes to that specific point, I mean, I would kind of view this verse in of itself as hyperbolic war
Hyperbole for what?
For just complete annihilation.
But annihilation in what way? Through death? Like through some kind of violence? Like, because it's probably won't be with an actual sword. That's true. I agree with that. But so are you saying that it is hyperbole for some other kind of actual physical combat?
Yeah, I want to say hyperbolic for something like it emphasizes decisive defeat, but not I guess not literal
physical defeat. Physical defeat.
Yeah.
Okay, so some kind of violent happening again, because they won't be with a sword. It hadn't happened yet, so people ain't running around here with katanas. You know what I'm saying? So I agree with you that this won't actually be a sword, but it will be some weapon.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so, okay, so some weapon. Okay, keep going. Keep reading after the sword thing.
Their infants will be dashed to pieces before their eyes.
Okay, is that hyperbolic for something?
Yeah, I believe this whole thing is hyperbolic language.
Hyperbolic for what though? Like, so what is the baby being dashed against the stone? What or dashed before the eyes? What is that hyperbolic of? What is that?
No, I believe. So I believe like all of this is pointing to an emphasis to decisive defeat.
Yeah, decisive defeat. But I'm saying, so are you saying that babies really will be dashed?
I mean, I don't want to say they really literally will be dashed, but I'm
will
saying,
they be harmed in any way? Will the infants be harmed in any way? Because if it's hyperbolic, then you're saying if hyperbolically we dash them against rocks, then that's overspeak for what we're actually going to do to them. So what's actually going to happen? What do you think actually will happen to the infants?
Well, what's actually going to happen? I mean, I guess I don't really know what's actually going to happen, but what
do you think? Like, if dashing them before their parents' eyes is the hyperbole, okay, so that's so that means we're talking tough. We don't actually mean we're gonna throw babies against rocks. Okay, what we're actually going to do is less than that. So, what do you think that is? What do you think that represents?
So I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's gonna, like, all these things that you're probably gonna bring up, it's all pointing to one thing that it's really trying to emphasize, which is
complete annihilation.
defeat.
Yeah, decisive annihilation. Yeah, but I'm saying,
no, not annihilation.
Decisive defeat.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. But in that defeat, there is a way to defeat. Right. Okay. There are actions that are involved in said defeat. And the actions are laid out for you. So there are groups of people and things that will be affected in this decisive defeat. So each of these hyperboles has to represent, or as an overall, you're taking this thing as an overall, but each individual group of people are represented there. So something is happening to each that's how we know it's so decisive, because it goes through each group of people. So from the men to the women to the children to the houses, right? Okay. So we know that something is going to happen to all of that. What do you think is going to happen to the infants?
What do I think is going to happen? I mean,
yes.
Probably. I mean, I genuinely, I don't really.
Well, it's a decisive defeat. So you get
when I say, okay. I'm just kind of, I guess I'm just kind of trying to figure out how else I can put it, because like when I say like this is all hyperbolic, pointing towards one general thing, one thing. And then, you turn and ask me, wait, but what about this? And I'm like, I still think it's pointing towards the same thing. I don't believe a hyperbolic statement has to literally talk about the.
But hear what I'm saying. The box score is Israel wins. That's the box score, right? 115-9. Israel, clearly just an ass whipping. But in the box score, such and such scored this, such and such scored this. So I could just say, man, the Bulls whooped their ass, right? Or I could say, man, Mike went for 63. Pippen went for 14. Okay, so yes, this is a description of a total ass whipping, but they're giving you the box score.
Oh, are they?
And I know
the box score?
they're literally giving you the box score right here. They're saying the men are going to be thrust through. The children, this is the box. So they're giving you the numbers, the stats, right? So not just the 119-5. They're going through. This is how it happened.
Yeah.
Okay. Now it all does add up to a decisive victory. Yes, I'm granting that. But hyperbole is just overspeak, right? So he could have just said, he could have just left it at specifically, I'm going to wipe the sinners off the earth. That's hyperbole. But we're beyond hyperbole at this point. This is a descriptive play-by-play. Now, and these could be hyperbolas, right? Which is why I'm asking you, for each one of them, what do you think it actually represents? I know it's a decisive victory in the overall, but there are physical happenings that are going on here that we need to discuss one at a time.
Well, my thing is, I guess my issue is I can't necessarily tell you what exactly is going to happen to each one of these peoples, but I can tell you that these things were physical. I mean, I don't know. If that's
so something physical is going to harm the babies, right? I think that there's a physical harming of the infants. Okay, all right, and a physical violence to the infants, right? Okay, all right. What's the next one?
Their houses getting robbed will be plundered.
Okay, and so people's actual possessions will be taken, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then the last one.
And their wives raped.
Okay, so people's actual wives, right? Okay. Now keep in mind, this is what Jesus referenced. This is the same day that Jesus referenced in Matthew 24. Okay, this is the exact same day, right? And he lets you know it's the same day because, again, there's not 2 days when the sun ain't gonna give its light and the moon ain't gonna shine and the earth's gonna be shaking and he gather all the people together from the ends of the heavens. And okay. That only happens one day. Okay. Next question. Is this that we're reading right now, is this righteous?
Is that righteous?
Yes.
Well, ultimately, I would say, well, yes, as it is considered
Yes.
prophecy. So ultimately, I think there's a couple reasons why I don't believe it. So one of the reasons is that God's speech, like we just showed right now, was actually unique to the context.
Was what? I'm sorry. I'm theocratic just means run by God, right? They wanted to be under. Theocratic just means you're under God, right? And Nat was under white people. He didn't want to be under white people. He wanted to be a man under God.
Yeah, but I mean, I think when we're talking about theocracy, it's not just. I think it's a bit different.
Theocracy just means God rules. That's literally all it means. It just means God rules.
Yeah, you would have to tell us how it's different really quickly. Guys, we're almost at 150K. Thank you so much. If you're enjoying the conversation, go ahead and give Bash. He gives it to an organization that helps fund cancer research. So go ahead and do that. AC is up here being, an interesting Christian, giving us some thoughts. So go ahead and gift him if you want to. Make sure you give the rest of the panel. Let's get to 150K. Tap, share the live. You guys are doing so well today. I'm enjoying the conversation, honestly. I'm taking notes on some of the conversation we're having, the responses that AC is giving. So I think it's typical of Christians with this mindset. So AC, thank you for that. Number one. Number two, what was I going to say? Oh, if you are following everybody on the panel, please feel free to follow every single person on the panel. Also, send well wishes to Mama Bash. She's in surgery right now for a rotator cuff, so we want to keep her in our thoughts as well. So thank you very much. Also, just make sure you're tapping. Like I said, we are literally almost there. Thank you, Fee, for blessing the panel. Really appreciate it. And thank you guys for helping me with my gift goals. We're doing amazing. Please go back to the conversation. I just wanted to do a quick break really quickly while he thinks about what a theocratic system is. A theocracy, rather. Go right ahead, you guys.
Yeah, okay. So I guess when I or a theocratic nation is like I would assume there's something like, some sort of, although God is the divine authority, but there's like structure to something. Like is he like trying to structure a government or something? Pink?
Who are you
I'm sorry about that. Yeah, okay. A nation, in order to form a nation, you have to be free first, right? Okay. So the first step to forming a nation is getting free. Before you can establish how you want to be governed, and you don't have to have a governance to be a nation, by the way. A nation is just any tribe or group that shares culture and history and a language. So and you can look that up in Black's Law Dictionary or anything like that. If you share history, tradition, language, and culture, specifically if you share blood, then you are a nation. Okay,
True. I agree.
So he was trying to break free, and so that his nation could be ruled by God. Right.
I guess where I'm trying to go to is that although maybe he was trying to make some theocratic nation, it's just that there's no, I think we'd be getting ahead of ourselves if we said, well, he was trying to free them first in order to structure this nation.
You literally have to be free before you can start a nation. You
do. I agree with that, but that doesn't necessarily.
And that's what he said. God said.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that is what he was going to do.
But that's what he said. God said.
What did he say? God said
that he was trying to get his people free so they could be ruled by God. That's what Nat Turner said. God said.
Okay, well, sure. Let's go ahead and I'll grant it for the sake of the conversation.
Okay, so if that being the case, then was he righteous?
Oh, well, but there's still a multitude of other things. I mean, that was kind of like.
Okay, well then what's the other thing? I'd like to hear what are your other things.
So another thing is, according to the new covenant, God's people, it's not some sort of nation state. The kingdom is now spiritual and transnational. Sorry.
Is it true that God said about his children they couldn't be slaves? Is that true?
You say what?
That the children of Israel should never be slaves. But is that true? That the children of Israel should never be enslaved?
That the children of Israel should never be slaved?
Yes. After they got out of Egypt, did he promise them, y'all won't be slaves again?
Ooh, I would definitely need a verse for that one.
I'm just asking.
Okay. Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. Either way, let's say he said they couldn't be slaves again, right? We definitely know that they had slaves, right? And that they had slaves of other nations, and that was true throughout the entire New Testament. Jesus referred to slave owners and people who had slaves, and he told them how to treat them. Paul referred to slave owners and people who had, and they couldn't be Israelites. Right? Can't have an Israelite as a slave. Israelite can't have an Israelite as a slave. So he referred to slave owners, told them how to treat them. Paul did the same thing, told them how to treat them. Okay, that being the case, okay. If God told this man to, now what you might be saying to me, because so we won't keep going back and forth. What you might be saying to me is that Nat might have had a different understanding of the new covenant than you, and I don't want to argue that. Okay, what I'm specifically saying is that Nat said, God said this. Right. And ultimately what you're saying is, I don't believe God said that. And here are my reasons that I don't believe God said that. But my question is, you don't, let me see, make the question. I'm going to make sure I'm saying it right. Why, other than that, you interpret the New Testament differently. Right. Okay. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about what Nat Turner said God said. Right. Okay. So and you don't have any epistemic knowledge of Nat Turner's internal conversations with God. You just don't have that. Okay. So when Nat says, hey, God told me to do, as a matter of fact, it was after Nat Turner's rebellion that they made the slave Bible, because they didn't want y'all reading that no more. That's why the slave Bible came to be, because Nat was a preacher and because he had his hands on the Bible. They didn't want y'all reading that no more. So they took that part out. Okay. So it seems like whatever that word of God was that Nat took and moved with, somebody said, no, we don't want them thinking like that. Right? Because this was a whole rebellion. It wasn't just him. He just led a rebellion. Okay. No different than all these people in Isaiah. It ain't just one people. It's a whole bunch of people that's going to get together. They're going to basically uprise against the world. Okay, all right. But for whatever reason, you're not letting Nat have that, and I don't understand why you're not letting Nat have it.
Well, I mean, when you said, well, I have a different understanding of the New Testament. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, I wanted, you're 100% right. But that's the reason.
But wait,
That's
hear
the
what I'm
reason
saying.
why I would find what he's saying to be.
But you have a different understanding of the Old Testament than Isaiah had, right? But you still agree with Isaiah. Think about, like, you don't. As a matter of fact, Isaiah referred to the Lord as the Lord of hosts because Isaiah was an Elohist. Isaiah believed that God was the most high God over a bunch of other gods. You don't believe that. You believe there's one God. You believe there's one God. Isaiah didn't believe that. And that's okay. You don't have to have the same understanding as Isaiah had. Right? But just because you don't understand the Old Testament the way Isaiah understood it, don't mean you think that God didn't say this to Isaiah.
So where should I go? Dang, I forgot what your immediate response to was.
Well, I'm responding to the fact that you don't see the New Testament the way that Nat saw it. I'm saying you also don't see Isaiah had no understanding of the New Testament at all, and y'all don't see the Old Testament the same way. Okay, so you theologically do not agree with Isaiah at all. Okay, but you're still granting him that God said this. And it doesn't matter how he viewed the New Testament. It doesn't matter how he viewed the Old Testament. You're granting him that God said this to him. And because God said this to him, this is righteous. And I'm trying to figure out why you're not granting that Turner the same thing.
Well, I guess there's even a couple reasons for that, but I mean, I would like to know. You said Isaiah. You said that he viewed the Old Testament.
Isaiah was an Elohist. Isaiah was not a Yahwist. He was an Elohist. He's more of a henotheist. In other words, that God, there was a Most High God, which is why he referred to him as the Lord of Hosts. He referred to him as the Most High God. He thought that there were other gods that did exist. That other gods were actual, real, but that Yahweh sat supreme over them.
Okay. Yeah. And why do you say that?
Because he referred to him as the Lord of Hosts, and he referred to the other gods. Right? When he talked about Lucifer, son of the morning, where you read Lucifer, son of the morning, what you're reading in Hebrew is Halal ben Shachar, right? And Shachar is literally the god of the morning. Shachar is the god of the morning. Right? He had a brother named Salim, which is the god of the evening, and together they made Yom, which is the day.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So he believed in other gods. He just thought that Yahweh was the most high God. You don't see the world that way. You don't think that there's a God of the morning and a God of the night.
So with that, when it says in Isaiah 45:5, when it says, "I am the Lord, and there is no other."
Yeah, you're reading the title Isaiah. Now you're reading the title Isaiah. Isaiah is written in 3 parts, and those 3 parts are written over several long different times. You in that last part of Isaiah, completely different writers, completely different, and you can look that up yourself. You're reading Trito Isaiah. I'm in Proto Isaiah, first Isaiah, the first part of Isaiah that Isaiah wrote, and you don't see the Old Testament that way, and which is okay, and you know it.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, if you want to do a history of the Old Testament class one day, we can go through it. That's fine. But what I'm saying is, you don't believe that there's a God of the morning. You don't believe that, do you?
Well, no, I don't. I mean, I don't believe
that.
But
okay, Isaiah definitely believed that. When he said Halal ben Shachar, he was literally calling him Halal, the shining one, son of Ben Shachar, the God of the morning. His brother's name is Salim, the God of the evening. Together they make Yom. They're twin brothers. Okay. And that comes from the old Canaanite system of worship, where El was the most high God. But we can go through that whole thing. But that's neither here nor there. Point being, Isaiah, you don't have the same theology as Isaiah. You don't, and that's okay. But even without the same theology as Isaiah, right? You didn't have to interpret the Old Testament the way he interpreted it. You don't have to interpret Moses the way he interpreted Moses. You're okay with that. Okay. All right. But you're still granting him that God spoke this to him, even though y'all don't interpret scriptures the same way?
See, I guess the only thing is, I guess I don't see how. I guess I don't see how. Well, I do agree there probably are different authors when it comes to Isaiah.
Definitely different, and they're written over, like they're written hundreds of years apart too. Not like, again, do your research on that. Look up Proto Isaiah, Deutero Isaiah, and Trito Isaiah.
No. Like I'm saying, like, while I do agree, I'm saying that I don't know if that necessarily implies any contradiction.
I didn't say a thing about a contradiction. I never said a word about a contradiction. What I'm saying is that Isaiah, in Proto Isaiah, Isaiah was an Elohist.
Yeah, the thing is, if you're saying that.
But that's not the point. That's not even the point. That's not the point. What I'm saying, you don't follow the law. Isaiah thought to be saved, you need to follow the law. Y'all disagree theologically on something. Promise you. Okay. That being said, you don't have to agree with his entire theology for you to believe that God said this.
Well, I mean, actually, when it comes to, even putting the whole Isaiah thing aside, when you're saying I don't have to agree with this whole theology to agree with this,
right?
I guess that's not really what I'm.
That's what you just said about Nat. You said that you understand the New Testament differently than him, so you disagree.
Well, no. The thing is, like, when you said his whole theology,
that's all the theology he had, though. Keep in mind, all his theology was Old Testament. Really, all his theology was just Moses.
No,
right? So I'm sure you don't see Moses the way he saw Moses. He thought you had to keep the law.
Well, maybe, but my thing is, like, it's not about the fact that I'd have to agree or disagree with this whole theology in order to say that I don't believe him on this. Or I don't agree with him.
Then what? Then okay. If Nat has a different interpretation of the New Testament than you, okay, all right. So he believed in Jesus. So you agree with that part of his theology. Then what is it that's making you say, okay, God couldn't have said this to him just because y'all read the New Testament differently?
Well, the thing is, you say just because we read the New Testament differently, but that is the main.
But y'all
reason.
read the Old Testament. You and Isaiah read the Old Testament differently. Y'all read the Old Testament differently. But just because you read the Old Testament differently than Isaiah, you're not saying God didn't say that to him.
Well, no. What I am saying, though, is that if there is, like, let's say Isaiah says, or let's say you say something like, oh, I believe in everything the Bible says.
No, but he said there's more than one God. You vehemently disagree with that.
No.
Isaiah believed there's more than one God. You don't believe there's more than one God.
No. But
y'all disagree fundamentally.
No. My point is, like, okay, let's say you're saying that you believe the whole Bible is true, except for thou shalt not murder.
Okay.
And I'm like, I would disagree with, how you view, what's it called? The 10 Commandments or something. Then, then you'd be like, oh, well, that's not.
But if God said kill somebody, let's say the reason that I said I don't agree with thou shalt not murder as an outright law is because sometimes God says kill, and I might go, and I don't really call that murder. Okay, so if God, and I can show you where God said kill, all right, okay. So then you couldn't argue with me that God has said kill. And if I say, well, then God told that man to kill. And you go, well, no, he didn't. And I'm like, well, why? Right? Because you see, Jesus is referencing this day of murder. If we go to Luke chapter 19, he talks about slaying people in front of him that day. There is nothing. And if you go to Revelation, it brings up that same war of Babylon again. Point being, let me tell you why I brought all this up, because I don't want to get too bogged down in this. The reason that I bring this up is because right before I came up, I think it was Fee that asked, who does this benefit? I think it was Fee asked that. And it dawned on me who it benefits.
I think that was Kalu, yeah.
Oh, maybe it was Kalu. Who does this benefit? It dawned on me who and why it benefits them. Okay.
Okay.
This benefits a system. This benefits anyone in power in a system that doesn't want you to fight back. Let me tell you why I say that. Because as long as it was one other thing I wanted to read in the scripture too. God, dog, hold on.
I've been asking you guys in the comments, and I see some of y'all are answering me. What do we think about this conversation so far between AC and Bash? Put your thoughts in the comments as they finish this or they keep going. I'm interested. I'm trying to follow AC, but it's right. I'm loving it. Hey, Black, I'm loving it, but I'm seeing where he's getting bogged down, like like where he's stopping at, and I wonder why. But I'm sure Bash is going to help us understand in a minute. So
I want to
let's
go to
keep
Luke
going.
18. I want to go to Luke 18. We're going to read verses 1 through 6. Luke 18.
Son of Khalil, you got it, or you want me to pull it up?
I got it.
Okay. Tap that screen, share the live, you guys. Thank you for gifting. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for doing all the things. I appreciate you guys.
Is there a specific verse you're looking for, Bash?
Verses 1 through 6, I want to say.
All right. Then Jesus told them a parable about their need to pray always and not to lose heart. He said, in a certain city there was a judge who neither feared God nor had respect for people. In that city there was a widow who kept coming to him and saying, "Grant me justice against my accuser." For a while he refused, but later he said to himself, "Though I have no fear of God and no respect for anyone, yet because this widow keeps bothering me, I will grant her justice, so that she may not wear me out by continually coming." And the Lord said, "Listen to what the unjust judge says."
Read the next verse. Read them. I think.
And will not God grant justice to his chosen ones who cry to him day and night? Will he delay long in helping them?
Okay.
I tell you.
Okay, check this out. Now, I know that you type in things for apologetics. Do me the favor and type that passage in your Google.
Oh wait, I'm
Just
sorry.
type that passage that Luke 18, 1 through 6. Type that in and see what you get back about that as a commentary.
Wait, I'm sorry. Wait.
Type this Luke 18, 1. You can just like Luke 18 and type in specifically the unjust judge and see what it says about this. Just Google it.
Okay, type
Luke.
You want me to Google it? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Google it. Luke 18.
Luke 18.
Mm-hmm.
Unjust judge.
Mm-hmm. And see what you get about that. What does it say?
All right, hold on.
It's 1 through 8 technically, but I stopped at 6. But 1 through 8. Oh no, I think I went through 8.
Stopped at 7. After 7.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Somebody's made like a really good comment. Said, hold on, let me go back up. What did he say? Real atro. Oh man, what did it say? Hold on. Comment again. No, I'm joking. I gotta find your. Oh, Mr. Michaels. Negotiating your empathy. AC, do you think while he's looking that up, do you think that you're negotiating your empathy when it comes to like atrocities in the Bible?
Negotiating my empathy.
Mm-hmm.
Negotiating. In what sense?
Like kind of choosing, okay, well, this is what, I have empathy for. This is where, I think I can see myself in this, right? Or I've experienced something like that. And then just kind of snatching that away if it pertains to the God, right? It's not spread fairly across the board, especially when it comes to this Bible.
I mean, surely I find, things in the Bible to be, kind of hard to digest at times. Like, I'm never going to disagree. I do find myself sympathizing with some things, but I don't know. I believe that kind of still boils down to me with just my personal preference rather than an objective truth.
Like, kind of, yeah, Mr. Michaels, like knowing something is bad, but then, if God did it, if God has a hand in it, it changes your view of it. And I think that can be flipped also, whereas something where you should have empathy, like, for example, somebody like David, right? And you're like, well, he's a man of God. He's something like that. I think it can be flipped depending on where God lands. But I think bash is bad. But just a thought there. Go right ahead, you guys.
Okay, all right. It's an okay. Go ahead. And there's one other place I want to read this too. It's in 1 Corinthians chapter 6. I think that's the one I really wanted to read. That was the wrong one about the unjust judge. I think I wanted to read the one in 1 Corinthians chapter 6, 1 through 8. I think that's the one I wanted to read. Sorry about that. Although that one was about unjust judge, and it was verses 1 through 8. I'm sorry. I think I wanted to read 1 Corinthians 6, 1 through 8. Sorry about that.
Okay, so wait, so you didn't want me to?
No, you can still do that. You can still do that. I'm just saying there's one more place I wanted to read. I'm sorry.
I got you. I mean, from what it says, actually, I haven't even read what this thing is saying, but it's saying Luke 18.
Yeah, read it. Take your time. Read it.
Okay. Let me read it real quick.
Yeah, take your time. Right, mother, prep. I agree. Yeah, happy.
Okay, now I gotta figure out.
Tap the screen, you guys. Share the live out. I know I keep saying the same thing, but I don't know. We're doing great today. I'm okay with y'all. Y'all okay with me? We cool. Everybody on the panel, do you guys have any thoughts really quickly while he's reading that?
Yeah, but it's like we're gonna take us way back to what we were talking about.
If you want to throw it out there really quickly while he's reading, go right ahead.
It's around the idea of like, is God proactive or reactive? Being that he's all knowing, right? And being that we were talking about the church hurt. And oftentimes when people are hurt, people say like, oh, God will deal with them. God will make sure that they face the consequences of their actions. And it's like, why wasn't he proactive? Why is he waiting till after the fact to do something?
That's a very good point. Anybody else while he's reading? No? All right.
I will say I find it interesting when we talk about, and somebody put in something about it in the comments, like when we assess whether or not an action is wrong, the decision is contingent upon who's doing it for believers, but not for non-believers. Like we can look at and read these actions and say, no, that causes harm. Like that's unnecessary. There's a better way of resolving this. There's a better way of accomplishing this goal. Yeah. But when it's a believer and there's a God in the equation, then that measurement gets altered for the God. Like, well, maybe it's not because of God. Like that, again, that who factor plays more of a determining role than what is actually happening.
I think a lot of that is because when it comes to Christian, they suffer from God cannot be a wrongous syndrome.
for wrongers is wild work.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? That it's easy for them to say us as humans can be wrong, but they're never going to attribute any wrongdoing by the God. If God said it, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just want to know how come he's so sure that God talked to the people in the Bible, but not Nat Turner.
Thank
I
you,
just didn't want to get
Dad.
caught up there. I kept trying to figure that out, but I don't think there's really an answer to that. But did you read that, bro? 'Cause I got to hear more.
Oh yeah, so I did read it.
Okay.
I'll just read it for you guys. Luke 18, the parable of the unjust judge, teaches persistent prayer, contrasting a corrupt human judge with a just God. The judge, annoyed by a persistent widow, eventually grants her justice to stop being bothered, leading Jesus to ask if God wouldn't more readily grant justice to his chosen, cry out day and night, promising he will vindicate them speedily.
Okay. The reason I bring that up, and that's just one of them, but I don't know if this is gonna help my point land just yet. But really, what he's saying is, why are you begging? Why are you taking this problem to them? If maybe they might fix it if you get on their nerves enough time. Don't take it to them. Bring it to God. Don't take it to them. Bring it to God. Right? Okay. All right. God will fix it. Don't go. Somebody's accusing you. Don't worry about that. Don't take it to them, folk. Bring it to God. God will do it faster. Okay, that's why I wanted to go over to 1 Corinthians 6. And Paul gonna talk about taking stuff to the unjust judge too.
I mean, my interpretation though is not necessarily what you're saying.
That's okay. That's why I'm going to 1 Corinthians. Let me get this one out the way, and then you can give me your interpretation, because that wasn't even the one I wanted to read. I thought that one might not land the way I wanted. 1 Corinthians 6, start at verse 1. I think we're gonna go through verse 8.
Son of Kalu, you got it, or you want me to go? First Corinthians 1, verse what?
6, verse 1 through 8.
Yeah. If you want to go ahead, feel free. It's like popcorn reading.
I got you. All right. When any of you has a grievance against another, do you dare take it to the court before the unrighteous instead of taking it before the saints? Do you not know that the saints will judge the world? And if the world is to be judged by you, are you incompetent to try trivial cases? Do you not know that we are to judge angels, to say nothing of ordinary matters? If you have ordinary cases, then do you appoint as judges those who have no standing in the church? I say this to your shame. Can it be that there is no one person wise enough to decide between brothers and sisters? Instead, brothers and sisters go to court against one another, and this before the unbelievers.
Okay, all right. So he's bringing it up again. He's saying what
was the verse again for that?
That was 1 Corinthians chapter 6, 1 through 8.
Okay.
All right. So again, he's saying, don't take this outside. Don't take it. Y'all judge that internally. And Jesus kind of hinted the same thing. The unjust judge, don't take it to the unjust judge. Don't do that. Judge this internally. Let God fix it. Right? Put somebody over you that can talk to God. Let God work it out. Okay. This benefits abusers in churches.
Yeah.
This only benefits abusers in churches. And the way you do it is you say, oh, see, that's the world system. Don't take it to the world system. Let God be the righteous judge. And keep in mind, whatever God does is right? Whatever God does is right. God is going to be just in this and speedy. So say Jesus. Right? Okay. This benefits specifically this benefits people in this power structure. Mm-hmm. Now, I laid out that first half of it for you. The whole thing about Isaiah. I'm going to land out because I got to get running. But I laid out the whole first thing in Isaiah because in any theocracy, nobody talks to God but the people who talk to God. Right? Going back to why I kept asking why you don't believe Nat. Okay, that's the reason I asked that. Right. But because whoever you grant really did talk to God, you give the authority to make these rulings. Right. Because it's not like God opened up the sky and said this out loud. We just trusting that God said this to Isaiah for whatever reason. Okay, whatever reason, we just trusting that God said this to Isaiah. Okay. But whoever sits in, and this may not be the case for you specifically, right? So you might say, well, I don't think anybody talks to God today. Right. Okay. So, but somebody does. Somebody does. Okay. And to those who give the God speaker any amount of ordinance, they allow the God speaker to dictate for them what is justice. And when there is a problem, so instead of taking these preachers to the police, instead of taking these Sunday school teachers to the prison, they take them to the panel, right? And they move. I live in Birmingham, Alabama. Birmingham, Alabama is a very small. It's not like a big city. Only about 250,000 people that live here. But we are home to the second largest church, second largest Protestant church in America, which is crazy, but fact. It's the Highlands.
Huh.
Like a ministry wing specifically for disgraced pastors. So if you got caught up in like some kind of sexual abuse case or something like that, you get to move to Alabama, be under his tutelage for a while, and then he installs you as like an assistant pastor at one of his campuses. And you can Google this. This ain't something you got to take my word for. This is like public information that one of the first pastors that he did that with had raped a woman in Washington. One of his assistants in Washington. He resigned from that church, moved down to Alabama, stayed under this tutelage for about 2-3 years, and then put him out. But one of the people at our news station found out about it. Well, one of our newspaper, I'm sorry, found out about it. So they did a whole expose on it. But it's still there. It's still there. Okay, but because this type of rhetoric allows for an immense amount of trickery and wrongdoing. And it only benefits those who get to sit in the seat of power. I gotta run because that's my manager. Okay, thank y'all.
Thank you, Bash.
Of course.
Wow.
But, I would like to add that verbiage is the same as what goes on in this house stays in this house. That's very dangerous.
Yeah, no, I see what you guys are saying there, but I mean, I guess, so do you guys think like, like that verse was saying like, it should, like they shouldn't take it to court or something?
Are you asking if that's what the scripture says?
Yeah, like is that what you guys are interpreting when you guys read that?
I don't think that's an interpretation. I think that's exactly what it says. I mean, the religion that I grew up in definitely proved that there were families and people that were absolutely taken advantage of within the congregation because of that particular scripture where you don't sue your brother or your sister. Like they just had to resolve it internally. They even paired it along with that scripture that says at the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, the truth is established. So if someone, say a child, accused an elder of doing something to them, it wouldn't be established as truth unless there were 2 or 3 witnesses. So, I mean, and it's going to vary denomination to denomination, but I think that kind of skirts the point that Bash was making, is that when you look at these people as the seat of power or as the ultimate authority or the voice of God, you give them judicial authority. And by doing so, you then have to accept whatever they decide, even when you know internally that it's wrong. So you can hear the story of Nat Turner and say, oh, I don't believe him because of your loyalty to this God, and who you believe and accept has the seat of authority. But there's no difference between Nat saying what he said that God told him, or Isaiah or anybody else in this book, because you never met these people. God never confirmed any of this.
Lawrence,
The many denominations I've been in has the same. Sorry.
No, you're okay. Lawrence, you asked a question earlier about Nat Turner. Can you ask it again? I forget how you put it.
why do you believe that God could have talked to the people in the Bible, but not Nat Turner?
Yeah.
So ultimately, one's considered, I guess, quite literally, one's considered the word of God, while the other one's something that how do I put it, doesn't align with.
But who told us this was the word of God?
Who told us? Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I do think, what I'm saying right here is faith-based, as there is
no, but I'm saying, who decided that book was the word of God?
Who decided?
And where's the misalignment? Like what Nat Turner did is exactly what God told people to do in the Bible.
So to answer Lord's, and then I'll answer you, Fee. Who told me it's the word of God? I mean,
no, not you specifically. Who said that this tome is the word of God? I don't mean who said it to you. Why do people think that this is the word of God?
Why do people think it's the word of God? I mean,
because the book says it, right?
Yeah, ultimately, it, like I said, it does boil down to a faith-based assumption.
No. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Maybe I should rephrase this. If the book didn't say that this was the word of God, how would you know it was?
If the book didn't say it, how would I know?
If the book never said that this is the word of God, how would you know it's the word of God? I mean, men, what I'm trying to get at is men say this is the word of God, right?
Yeah.
Because you weren't there. None of this happened to you, right? So how do you know this is the word of God? Because a man said it is, right?
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, yeah, like I said, it is a faith-based assumption. I mean, we all make faith-based assumptions.
No, so actually I don't. So then why would I never make faith-based assumptions? So why would you believe when a man says another man heard from God, but you won't believe when the man who supposedly heard from God? Because, and the reason I say this is because somebody wrote that a man heard from God. It wasn't, I mean, this is not like firsthand information, right? Considering when the Bibles were written, this isn't firsthand information. Somebody wrote, a man wrote that another man heard from God. So why do you believe that, but you don't believe when somebody says, I heard from God?
Well, I guess, I mean, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. But I mean, yeah, I mean, ultimately, I don't know. I feel like
What rabbit hole?
Just the whole. Nah, see, because if I say it, you guys are gonna fight me on that for sure.
No, go ahead. Look, we are here. We're having a conversation. Like we obviously are on different sides of this. So like that's just the obvious thing. Like, but if you don't have to. But I mean, like you're giving us your thoughts. We're gonna push back on it, of course. Yeah. But it's interesting, like I said, to hear what you come up with, what rebuttals you're coming up with, because it's. I feel bad. Like I don't know if there's like what makes this more valid than Nat Turner and what he's hearing when Nat Turner is an actual person, right? Versus the people who are just kind of we believe they're made up, but you don't have any proof that they're real. So I'm gonna have to say like made up people, right? But like beyond that though, because we're kind of beyond that. But give your thoughts. Like shit is out there now. You know what I'm saying? Like go ahead. You know, we might pick it apart. We might not. We might sit and kind of chew on it for a second. But shit, go for it. You know.
Well, I mean, I feel like what I said is, yeah. I think I'll just, you know, for now, just because the other point I'm gonna make is something I haven't 100%, or rather I do believe, but I don't know, or I don't have the good amount or good enough arguments yet for it, as I haven't fully deep dived into it. But I guess for now I'll just stick to the idea that it's it ultimately ends up being a faith-based assumption, and I do believe that, you know, that is something everyone has to make.
You keep saying that. Can you give us an example of what faith-based assumptions you think we make?
Yeah, sure. I think that, for example, you guys believing, I don't know if you guys do, just let me know. But do you guys believe that, you know, the sun is going to rise tomorrow?
That's not a faith-based assumption.
That's not a faith-based
That's a
assumption.
science-based.
Yeah.
You know, we know that it's going to happen. We have knowledge. There's patterns. We know how this earth is ran, right? It's not faith-based. It's not something that we haven't seen or we don't have knowledge of, right? We don't have to believe it's going to happen. We know that it's going to happen.
So
yeah, we have evidence that this, like the sun, the world, actually, the world, the globe, the earth, all synonyms, spins on its axis. The sun doesn't actually rise. It doesn't actually come up and then go down, right? The sun, the world just goes around in a 24-hour period. It just spins. And when it spins, it puts some of the world in darkness and some of the world in sunlight, depending on where you live. Because if you live above the Arctic Circle, it may be time for, I don't know, maybe the midnight sun for you. I don't know, where it's not sunny for a couple of months, but the world is going to spin on its axis. We have evidence that it does.
Yeah.
And because it has for millions of years, and it will for millions of years to come, we have evidence of this. This is not a faith-based thing. Because faith is believing something that you don't know. I know that the sun will rise tomorrow.
Yeah. So now let's think about, you know, what you guys just said. You guys said, you know, it's always happened, right? You know, science and things like that. You know, the sun spinning around, or I mean, we're spinning around the sun and stuff like that. Well, how do we know that that's going to keep happening?
I think that we can trust that it will just because it always has. But the thing that you're conflating is confidence with trust. I mean, faith, and those are two completely different things.
Yeah.
If you've experienced something and you've seen a pattern emerge and that pattern has been consistent, you're pointing to your reason for belief. With a faith-based system, your desire to believe is your evidence. Those are not synonymous at all. So, I mean, is it possible that, you know, for some cosmic something happens that the earth stops spinning? I don't know. I'm not a physicist. But until we have evidence of that being the case, it's not faith that causes me to accept that looking at the weather report that the sun is going to rise where I am in the world at about, 5:15 a.m. Like, it's predictable. It's a model that we utilize. That doesn't require, you don't need faith when you have a model. You don't need faith when you can make predictions. Could those predictions be wrong? Absolutely, because shit happens. Like, we learn new things. There's absolutely no evidence that we could point to that would cause us to believe that. Because to Laura's point, every day that we have had on record, the sun has risen in the east, which again, that's old language that we still haven't gotten rid of because the sun doesn't move. We just still call it the sunrise. I guess that's easier or more poetic than the earth spin.
Then I guess the issue that we run into when we say that is, I guess the whole idea of, I guess I should have probably prefaced this, but the whole idea is like induction in of itself. If we're saying that, I guess induction would be like, we know that things are going to happen tomorrow because of the way that they were yesterday, or the way that we know that they were today or something. So
but it's not faith. Like, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. When you pose this to us, make sure you're putting the fact that this is evidence based. But go ahead.
Mm-hmm. The issue is, if we say that, induction is evidence for induction, it becomes circular.
Who said that?
Well, it's not circular. We can prove to you that the earth will keep spinning. We know how long the sun has left. The sun is about at its half-life right now, right? We know how long that this star can go before it fizzles out like every other star, right? We know that stars are born, they last for a time, and then they just fizzle out like stars do. Scientists have calculated that. We already know that we're at the sun's life. The sun is about 50 years old right now. If you're talking human years, and 100 years is the end. The sun is about 50 years old.
Are you telling me that there's an end? You telling me that we don't gotta be here forever? You telling me that there's
let me say something. The end is probably about 10 million years from now, but it's gonna be an end.
Look, it need to be tomorrow.
It won't happen in our lifetime, Z, unfortunately.
Yeah, it won't happen in our lifetime. We'll be.
Daniel.
I mean, I'm okay with that. 10 million years sound like a goddamn long ass time.
That's a long ass time.
I'm with it.
Man.
And these folks want eternity. I mean, forever.
Man.
Eternity, what?
Bro, I told my wife, the minute I'm like 60, I can't do certain things. Look, do what you
look, go ahead. Take me out the pasture.
I'll write the wheel for you.
Okay. I'm not here. I don't want none of that shit. Take me out the pasture. No, I'm joking. Go ahead, AC.
No, I mean, this is like, this is the classical problem of induction thing, like we
Can
don't.
You explain what you mean by that?
Okay.
Yeah, maybe I'm a little like slow, and not slow as in like whatever, but like I don't understand what you mean by that. It's not clicking for me a bit.
Oh, I got you. Like, okay, so let's say that, I asked you guys the first thing, how do we know the sun is going to rise? Well, induction is basically saying the sun is going to rise because the sun rose yesterday.
Can you define induction for me? When I say I'm honest, I don't understand what you mean by that. Like, it's not something that I use in this context very often. Do you mind explaining that to me, what you mean by induction?
Yeah. I would say induction is, what's a good way to explain it?
Or like the definition, like what you mean, like when you're using it in like this, like the definition. So I'm trying to use the context clues to understand what you're saying, but it's not merging for me.
Okay.
Yeah, like when I say induction, I always think like heat transfer or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
It's based on observations. Oh, okay. You come to your conclusions after you make your observations.
It's just how you come to your system of coming to your conclusion. That's all. I don't know why he's using it like that.
Well, it's like, it's the, past pattern.
But that's not how scientists have come to they haven't induced anything, right? They've used radiometric dating, right? They can tell by the age of the Earth's fossils. They use something called astroseismology.
Lord, that literally would be scientific induction. Like that would be.
But I'm saying, but what he's using it wrong.
Yeah, he's using it wrong.
Yeah, he's saying
that one. Like I'm getting confused because I'm trying to get it, but I don't.
He's saying that the only reason why we know the sun will come up is because it came up yesterday. But that's not the reason we know the sun comes up. We know the sun is going to come up. We know the sun is going to come up because we've calculated these things already, right?
Is that what you meant by induction? Is that what you meant by induction, AC, or did you mean like what Rhea and Mac were saying? Like what did you mean by that?
Yeah, I mean, like, believe it's like essentially the past patterns of reality.
Yes, he means because he means because it came up yesterday. That's what he's using it wrong.
Oh yeah, you're using it wrong. That's not what induction means.
Okay, that's okay. Thank you. Because I'm like, okay.
I mean, that's a part of inductive.
Yeah,
but
it could be
doing
a kind
it a
of
misservice.
induction.
Well, let me I guess show how even what Lord's just said, it's still induction at the end of the day, because the scientific methods and the scientific laws, the laws of physics and all that stuff, all of that relies upon induction, because
why is it a problem?
The problem is because that there's no actual justification for
but your faith has no actual justification either. Yet here you are.
Yeah, I know.
Right? The replication is literally the grounding of it. What
why is there no justification?
Hold on, everybody, because I want him to finish. I understand what y'all are saying, but I'm trying to understand why he's saying what he's saying. Because it's confusing me. But I understand now what he's trying to say. He's saying it incorrectly. Well, not even incorrectly. Like, I think Lortz is right. Like, he's saying basically because of what we've experienced is how we're deducing what we will experience or what we know what's going to happen in the future. The sun rose yesterday. It's going to rise again today. Mm-hmm. That's what we're using now. And I get what Lords, Mac, and Rhea are saying, but AC, what does this have to do with what you're trying to say? Like what you're trying to prove to us, I guess.
So the point I'm trying to prove is like what Lotz just said, or Lotz, sorry. She was saying that, well, there's no faith. It's a faith-based assumption. Something without which I'm sorry, I don't even want to misquote her. So I'll just say the idea I'm trying to.
In the comments, she'll correct you if you're wrong. Go ahead.
But what I'm trying to point out is that the reason why I brought it up was because we all have faith-based assumptions.
No.
I believe induction is one of them.
Oh yeah, Lords. Yeah, but this is not faith-based though. This is evidence-based. When we say that the sun is going to rise tomorrow, or you know what I mean. And again, to Fee's point, it's not literally rising, right? But when we say that, it's based on millions of years of evidence. It's not faith-based. Now, granted, an asteroid could hit us right now, God willing, and we could just go right the fuck out, right? But there's no evidence that suggests that that's going to happen. You know what I mean? It's evidence-based, not faith-based.
And also, we're not guessing that this is going to happen, right? We're not hoping that we're not going to bed and say, man, I hope the sun comes up tomorrow. Like you hope that God is real.
Yeah.
And I think that knowledge gets used colloquially a lot. So when you say the sun is going to come up, that is speaking colloquially, because knowledge is justified true belief. It's not true until it happens, right? So, we could say that what you have essentially is a reasonable expectation based on evidence. But that's a lot to say. So people say, no, it's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes it becomes so reasonable that it kind of blurs that line between normative belief and knowledge, right? Because it's such a certainty in its historical, occurrence that it's logical to expect. It would be illogical to expect otherwise. It would be irrational or maybe even insane to expect otherwise. Now, to leave the window open for the possibility, that's a different story. right? But when people say like, yeah, I know the sun's going to come up tomorrow, that is largely shorthand for what I said, which is a reasonable expectation based upon all the available evidence.
What do you say to that?
So it's not a problem of induction. I don't understand how it's a problem.
Well, the problem lies in the actual justification for induction. So
How so?
So in other words, how, in what way can we prove, or can we justify the idea that the laws of physics of today are going to be the same as the laws of physics for tomorrow?
Induction doesn't say that.
I told you it's a reasonable expectation. So you're what you're holding it up to is an unattainable standard, right?
Right.
Absolute certainty. You don't know that you're not a brain in a vat, so you can't have absolute certainty. It's an absurd standard to use.
Well, it's not even, I guess.
You're using it as if it's a law. Like you're saying it as if like to induce something, you have to be coming to like an objective decision or an objective conclusion. Induction can be used in so many different like facilities and so many different ways. Just because you're inducing something, or just because you're coming to a conclusion because of, you know, things that are logically true, like maybe the sun might run out of gas a little sooner, but that's illogical. Like you would have to with the reasons and your justification, quote unquote, as to why not to expect that the next day.
Well, I mean, the problem doesn't necessarily lie in there being no. I mean, I don't know if you guys want to frame it as certainty. Maybe I'm more so just talking about just even like any sort of justification.
Like, who creates the necessity for it to?
We're not pointing to faith is the reason that you point to when you don't have a reason to believe what you've accepted as true, right? We've got plenty of reasons to believe the things that we do or accept as true.
Well,
so
reason not to believe it.
Right. Yeah.
You have reason not to believe it. Sorry.
No, you're good, Twin. But that's my point. Like, what are you referring to as a justification? Give me an example of something that would be a justification.
I would love that.
Okay, so I mean, like for induction, I don't see any justification, but let's say, I don't know, like let's say, well, saying you are, let's say you get married, and I say, you're what's that thing called again? A black bachelorette, right? Yeah, bachelorette. Well, I mean, obviously, the counter to that would be, well, no, you're married. It's a contradiction. So that would be like a justification for why that's untrue.
What?
A bachelorette.
You did not explain anything. Try again.
Like essentially what I'm saying is a justification would be something like some sort of negation to the opposite, or something like.
So you observe that somebody is married. You observe that to be a bachelorette means you are not married. Yeah. Therefore, you would not conclude.
Right. What reason married would or conclude the opposite?
The person being married.
So then your induction was wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
the induction. I just gave you the induction.
No, he's saying, but at the end of the day, the person is actually married.
Yeah.
So they're not a bachelorette?
Right. So they're not a bachelorette.
Yeah. So that'd be.
So your observation was wrong?
Yeah, yeah. But I'm giving you justification.
So that's not induction's fault. That's just I'm so
no. Oh wait, okay, wait. I'm sorry.
So
maybe
you
I
guessed wrong.
no wait. Hold on.
Yeah, this
maybe
is,
I
That's
just
not induction's fault.
wait. Maybe I'm sorry. Maybe I misinterpreted your question. Like if you're asking me for justification for induction, I don't think that there is one.
what was that example pointing to?
I mean, I don't know. I
For
thought you were talking about
justification.
justification just in general for like something being right or something being wrong. Sorry.
That's not what we're talking about, though. You said
Oh.
have faith-based systems.
What? Do you know what induction is?
This is what I'm saying. This is what
Wait,
I'm
no,
saying. This is what I'm saying about the impossible standard you're working with, which is you are appealing to certainty. That's not how people work. That's not how science works. Right?
No,
It doesn't come to a certain conclusion. That's why things are called like prevailing or leading theories. That's why.
Let's pause the noise for a second, because if you're still here right now, you're already different. Not everyone gets this. Not everyone understands real debate, real scholarship, real intellectual smoke. But you do. This is Coliseum of Arguments. This is Titans Debate League. And what happens here doesn't survive on algorithms. It survives on the people who believe in it. When you support through Cash App, you're not just donating. You're fueling the arena. You're the reason we can bring in high-level guests. You're the reason we keep unbiased judges. You're the reason these debates stay sharp, fair, and uncompromised. This platform is built by thinkers, sustained by supporters, protected by the ones who know value when they see it. If this show has ever sharpened your mind, has ever entertained you, or has ever challenged what you thought you knew, then Cash App is how you say, keep this going. Not everyone contributes, but the ones who do, they're part of what makes this real. Coliseum of Arguments, Titans Debate League, powered by the people who get it.
But this thing that you admitted that all you have is faith for, like you don't, that burden, you lower that bar so much, but you want our evidence to be overwhelming when you know your fucking self that the sun is going to come up tomorrow.
Well, my thing is, we're saying that it's 99.9%, but
what is the percentage that your what is the percentage that your God will come back?
Well, look, I've already told you that mine's faith-based. So,
okay.
But I'm saying that for you guys,
That's
I'm wondering
actual faith.
Well, yeah.
Right, because it's belief despite an absence of evidence. An utter absence of evidence. In fact, you have contradictory evidence, right? Because Christ himself, if he was a person and said what he said in the Bible, said he would come back while his followers were still alive. So that's evidence. That's not only an absence. If you want to call it evidence, that's evidence to the contrary. Right.
Well,
so the idea of him coming back now, you have to also use your faith to overcome that. You're dealing with like double faith.
Well, the main question, I guess for you, Mac, would be, why exactly would that be only 99? Why would that be 99%? Like,
where would be
the induction? Because I think you were saying how you're asking for certainty, even though it's 99.
You want to look at the sun? I'll take the sun for example. how many days has the sun not risen?
Oh, it's always risen.
Right. So in reality, you have 100% historical evidence, right? And you have, I don't know, what's that? 4 billion times 365. Yeah, like 13 billion different pieces of evidence, right? So that's the 99.999 that trend has been there, never been noted to have been missed, right? Now, if you want to count the days of human history, that's another thing, right? Recorded history will give you 6,000 years, right? So that's 20,000 days, something like that. 22,000. So we have a pretty good track record of the sun coming up, right? And then that's just the observation. That's just like layman's observation. And then if you get into like the scientific evidence supporting, the rotation of the earth, it's what the light does, right? The photons that are emitted, how they interact with the planet, causing there to be the phenomena of light, all this stuff. And you can break it down scientifically, but the fact of the matter is it's never not happened. And the laws that bind it all agree and continue to agree, unless there's some major shakeup in that. It's an absolutely reasonable belief that it will continue.
It doesn't.
And Zena, I'm sorry. The Earth will last for 1 billion more years. I'm sorry.
I was 10 million was
one
lower than anything.
1 billion. Then it'll get so hot that people can't live here anymore. So it's 1 billion years.
If I hear another person talk about reincarnation, you're crazy.
It doesn't matter.
I don't want it.
Be here. Humans won't be here that long. It's fine.
Bruh, I don't care. All that spiritual.
But
I'm talking about the billion years. We're 10 million.
A billion years is a long goddamn time. And I don't see how anyone wants to live. Imagine living 1 billion years. Like, imagine singing praises to God with a white fucking robe on for 1 billion years.
How you know it's gonna be white and not bloody, Lord?
Well, I mean, it would have to be white to show the blood. I mean, that's like imagine holding hands around a Christmas tree singing "Fahu Doris." That's what I think when I say this motherfucker just standing up there, welcome, singing the same song over and over.
I don't even want to talk. I mean, if it's going to be filled with the people that come in here and have conversations with AC, you're fine. But like the vast majority of them, absolutely not.
AC, you're the exception for right now. For right now.
Like the never-ending song.
That part. And to add to Twin's point, like, look at the predictive models and the predictive information that we can use with the method that we use, because ours is a method. It is a system that is provisional. When we get new information, we update the models that we use. We don't hold on to our understanding despite the evidence in front of us. Show me one predicted eclipse that you can find in this Bible, one predicted return that you can find in this Bible. Like to say that acceptance of the scientific method is faith-based is just not to understand the scientific method at all.
No, I actually agree with you guys. I'll go ahead.
I do. I would recommend actually going to look up what induction is, because I don't know that you understand what that is.
Here, let me search it up for my sake, I suppose. So what I'm referring to is the problem of induction. It says, okay, famously posed by David Hume, questions the logical justification for believing past patterns will continue in the future.
Did you just look up like a philosophical definition?
And do you think he was talking about the sun?
Well, what I'm referring to is specifically the problem of induction.
So it's a philosophical argument then?
Well, I mean, I guess you can call it an argument. It's more so
right,
like
so,
a concept.
Well, that's what that would be, is just maybe a bunch of weirdos trying to understand what induction would be. But in the actual definition, right, I'm going to go to the scientific induction as well. Induction is the action or process of they use the word here to actually define it, but it's basically of inducting someone to a position or organization, obviously assigning somebody, right? Putting them, adding them to the process of adding them to a organization. And then it says the process or action of bringing about or giving rise to something, right? That's the basic definition. Now, the scientific definition is in science, the induction is reasoning from specific observations to form general principles, theories, or laws, like seeing many white swans and concluding all swans are white, though this is not a guaranteed truth.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the one I'm working with right there.
Right. So no one has ever claimed that scientific induction was guaranteed truth, or induction science was anything set in stone. We've been trying to explain that to you for a while. It's just the process from specific observation to form general principles, theories, or laws.
Yeah.
I also think this is a difference in position issue, right? Like it seems that if a problem arises with induction, then that means we miss some information and we adjust.
Exactly.
Science is not looking to prove itself right. Science is constantly looking to prove itself wrong. But it seems as though religion wants to declare itself right and refuse any evidence to the contrary. Those are not analogous.
Well, I think what Rhea just pointed out was, I think, pretty illuminating. I think it's kind of basically just saying that, for all intents and purposes, it is a faith-based assumption because it's not certain truth. It's not a certain truth.
It's not faith-based. I don't know how many times I have to keep telling you this.
What about a process will be faith-based? It's a process.
It's an expectation.
Well, yeah, sure. It's an expectation.
AC, what is faith to you outside of the Bible? What is that? Because inside the Bible, it's evidence that's hoped for but not seen. What does that mean to you outside of the Bible?
Okay. Outside of the Bible, I think when I say faith here, I'm talking about belief without evidence. I mean, yeah, let's just go with that right now. So when Max said that there is 99.9% chance, I mean, but the issue arises is that, the issue that arises is that he referred to induction, which became circular.
No, it's not circular. It's not circular because I'm telling you that it is evidence for the likelihood of that to continue, right? This is the this is what you keep missing, and I think it's intentional now. Nobody is claiming certainty, right? I don't know in the strict sense that the sun is going to rise tomorrow. I expect it. I'd be a fool to expect otherwise, right? But I don't know it because it hasn't been justified and demonstrated as true yet, right? So this is what you do with like future expectations and events, is you have to make your best assessment, and you establish the likelihood based on past events and the understanding that unless there's some like T-bone coming in that's going to throw off the laws of physics or knock the Earth out of its orbit or stop the rotation, which we haven't seen, and there's no evidence to expect that's ever happened, then you are justified in expecting with a high degree of certainty that the sun will rise tomorrow. But you keep going back to that's faith because you're focusing on the 0.0000001% of things we don't know.
But I guess my main thing is how exactly do you quantify the probability of induction without using induction by itself?
Why is that an issue?
Well, I mean, that's my contention.
You're calling it circular, but you haven't demonstrated how it's circular.
Okay. because essentially you're saying that, well, the reason why I have a high confidence in believing the sun will rise tomorrow is because it's risen billions of days before, right? But induction
That's
itself,
part of it. That's part of it.
Okay. What's the other part? Sorry.
Just
You
the
know how
laws
it
of
happens.
physics, the way the universe, the way our solar system is constructed, the way the Earth spins, like all the things that go into making that billions of days happen, is still evidence that can be put on top of that.
But you see that the problem rises there too, because
No, it doesn't.
Well,
because again, you are appealing to certainty.
Well, not necessarily. But I'm more so saying that when you say like the laws of physics, when you say like you know the way that the Earth is spinning and rotating, and all of that presupposes, or I guess infers to the inductive reasoning in what's happened before.
Yeah, that's how we understand the world, right? And that's why it is a logical expectation and not knowledge that the sun will rise. But you keep going back to, and Ria brought it up very clearly, that the idea of claiming it as known fact, or I forget the term that was actually used, but claiming it as like a certain factual thing. And that's not what it is. Like it gets used that way colloquially, right? And that maybe causes some confusion. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, if you're looking at a strict definition, there is not knowledge. There's a reasonable high expectation, right? Based on evidence. But what's happening here is you're saying like, you don't have the equipment for this game of catch because your glove has a loose lace in it and you're holding like a can of chili in your hand. Like it's wild to me that we're spending so much time going back and forth on this when you have like less than nothing.
Well, I mean, I guess the thing, or I guess what's kind of like going on in this conversation is I've already said it.
Hold on, before you finish, Mac, the word used was guaranteed truth. It's very specific.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, what's going on? What's going on? Based assumptions, and I mean, there's you know another example for you guys, at least what I think. Maybe you guys don't, but what I'm trying to say is that, well, I'm not agreeing with me having faith-based assumptions, but I think you guys are disagreeing with.
You know what's funny? I try, the way people say, oh, like some people are just combative just because, right? And when y'all say stuff like this, I try not to be the one person that's like, actually, I don't think I'm going to wake up tomorrow. Right? I try not to be that person because I think y'all, just because you think a certain way, you think everybody else thinks that way, right? Especially even in this definition of induction. It's quite literally telling you that you would be a fool to think that anything is guaranteed, right? With the process that you're going through. It's telling you that you will be dumb to just expect things to be guaranteed, right? Because we're saying, oh yeah, 1 billion years. It could probably combust tomorrow. We literally don't know what could affect it a certain way, right? So you would be dumb to think every day is prepared for you. Like, it makes no sense why you're trying to shove fake down somebody's throat.
And you're also missing the key areas that they differ, right? Like expecting the sun to rise is in a form of induction. Absolutely. I can grant you that. But the reason it's not equivalent to religious faith is because it's not as epistemically equivalent. There's no evidence base. We have an evidence to point to as to why we are comfortable in expecting the sun to rise tomorrow morning. We can test it. We know the mechanisms with which that are in play that cause the sun to rise every day. In addition to the fact that there's a willingness to revise our stance and expectation based on the evidence that we see. You've never seen that with religion. So I think induction earns confidence through successful prediction and correction. Religion does not do that. It doesn't successfully predict anything, and it damn sure doesn't correct itself.
Well, I mean, while I do agree that science does have predictive power, I do think that might be just different categories, when it comes to religion versus science. But yeah, I agree. Science
Well,
is definitely.
that's because you're talking about you're calling it faith, but one is an inference from evidence, and the other one is commitment in the absence of evidence. Those two things are not the same.
An inference from evidence. I don't know if it's necessarily an inference from evidence. I think it's more so like a way to call something evidence.
It's the difference between those two things. I think I said that wrong. You're conflating inference from evidence. Like, you're not separating those things.
I'm conflating inference from evidence. I guess, what do you mean by that?
And
yeah, inference and evidence.
Oh, inference and evidence.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm conflating inference and evidence. So, are you saying like induction is inference, or are you saying like is it like something that should be considered evidence?
What I'm saying is that inductive reasoning, like Twin was saying, it's about probability and the confidence of that probability, not certainty. Religious faith does not deal with probability. Y'all talk about what the fuck will happen, even though none of that shit has ever happened. You can't falsify a religious claim. You can, just, even with the conversation that you were having with Bash, like, the language that the Nat Turner information was written in. It's your first language, I would assume. You don't even know who Isaiah was, if he was a real person, if he heard from a God, if the people who wrote it down in the original language captured it correctly, if the translators
No, I mean, well, we'll say they're, different in a broader scale. I think when you narrow down to the justifications for each, they do end up being, faith. But the reason why I say that,
you keep going back to that without showing us where our faith is, because we can point to you where our reasons are. We can point to you. We can give you the formulas. We can pull up the math right now to show how we know what time the sun will rise on every part of this globe. Mm-hmm. That is the reason that we are confident. But you couldn't even give us a reason why you believe Isaiah and didn't believe Nat, that God told them something.
I mean, I think both of us, well, okay. So my thing is, you say you can, give a reason why you believe these things. I feel like when I ask you, if I were to ask you, okay, you believe the sun is going to rise at 5:15, and that's because of all these meteorologists and whatnot, theologists are able to predict this. But then I would have to ask you, okay, but how do you know that the laws are still going to be the same?
Again, you keep going. Twin just called this out, and you did the same thing with Rhea. This is not about certainty. Nobody is claiming certainty about the laws never changing.
So if it's not about you actually truly knowing, like from without a doubt, then, and it's not, and you guys say probability, but I mean, if we just use induction to justify the probability of it, it still becomes circular.
It's
So
not
circular. The entire world functions on it. It's
The
not
entire
illogical
world-
at all.
Mhm.
The reason we're able to talk right now is because of inductive reasoning,
Mhm.
right? Because of the technology that made satellites happen and the internet happen. It's not faith-based. They made observations of what worked and what didn't. And you build on the things that do work. And you improve those things and you observe how it works. Everything you do is based on that. You're carving out this special little area, to preserve this God belief. But the fact of the matter is, it literally drives your waking life.
No, yeah, that's true, and I actually, I 100% agree with you on that. Like, we do need induction. Like, I'm never going to deny that. But what I'm trying to get at is, if we say, look, there's a high chance because it's happened for billions of years or millions of years. I don't know the exact age, but that would be.
Let me read this super chat. Shout out Ill Doctrine. It says the statement, "A bachelor is not married," is a matter of deduction because unmarried is part of the very definition of a bachelor. Shout out you for that one right there.
You would, the smart money's on it. I'll bet, I'd bet my house on the sun rising, every day from here till I'm dead. It'd be a foolish thing to bet against.
you drop.
That seems like intentional.
This is such a weird. Oh, I'm sorry, Colin.
No, his phone was at 20% a while ago. I'm just assuming it died.
Yeah.
This is always such a weird stance for believers to take when I think about it, because science is not faith-based. It never has been. It does not ask for belief. It asks for testing. It's open to revision, and it accepts accountability to evidence. Religion does not do that. Faith-based systems cannot do that. There's nothing you can point to as the reason for your belief other than the fact that you believe. Your faith is your evidence. This is such a conflation.
Yeah. Yeah, it's ironic. We're talking about like circularity, and like it kept going back to the same point that nobody was making. That like this was like claiming certainty. Like if you could just accept that because it's true, right? It's not a claim of certainty. It's a claim of expectation.
And that's the difference, because faith commits to belief
believe
without
it.
certainty. I mean, despite uncertainty. So they commit to the belief despite how uncertain they are. And science does the exact opposite. It manages uncertainty without committing to belief, because I'm not sure. And when I see this evidence to adjust what I'm observing, what I understand, how this functions, understanding the mechanisms, how this happens, they're just not even remotely related at all.
I'm just so glad he wasn't yelling about
it.
Facts.
Well, I'm gonna tell y'all, I
Bring
grabbed
Dr. Pepper up here.
I grabbed my tree, and I was just stoning with y'all. I don't know what y'all were talking about.
This is the kind of conversation you need that with for our auntie, because
Trust me, when y'all got into the big words, I said, "Let me grab me a tree."
I mean,
that's why I kept going back. I hate that we have to keep doing vocabulary lessons, man. Like, I don't understand. Like, I that's the fun part of English for me. I'm not gonna lie to you. The fact that like y'all have, or just English in general has direct definitions. Like, bruh, our languages back home, one word be like 3 sentences. Like,
I went to go warm up my tater tots. He's gone?
Yeah, I think he probably dropped. I mean, yeah, his phone died. And I think, Rhea, that is the issue, right? Like, it is about the flexibility that people give themselves with definitions. But trust in science is not faith. It never has been. It's earned reliability. And when it is no longer reliable, we can't predict on it, the tests that we run don't come out correct, then you toss that hypothesis to the side. They never toss hypothesis to the side for this God. They never test shit with this God. They just believe it. They're not the same.
Yeah, ontology explores existence of things.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody asked, what's an ontology?
Oh.
I don't know if that was like purely a joke question or not, but like epistemology is about beliefs and ontology is about existence.
Interesting. I was hoping that he was thick. I don't even think we got to like back to circle back to that main question about Nat Turner and all of that. And it's kind of my fault because I definitely opened a can of worms to this, but I just didn't understand what he was saying. I learned a lot.
Yeah, I don't think he meant to leave.
Yeah, I don't think AC's one to like stomp out and like run away. Anyway, top of screen, share the live. I do have a new gift goal up. I would love to get that accomplished. Thank you for being here. Thank you for helping. Let's go around the panel. Son of Kalu, what are your thoughts?
I think he hit a wall a while back when he was talking with Bash, and he was like trying to just like say that again.
No, I was saying thank you. Somebody sending roses.
And I just sat back and just listened to the whole thing. Like he's one of the good ones, and I say that very loosely. He's just like Lord said, he didn't yell. He's willing to listen at least.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I don't think he's up here like in bad faith or anything. I think he's hanging on to some things that I think he could eventually shake loose, but right now he's hanging on to them pretty tight. And that, whatever. If it happens for him, it happens. But he doesn't seem bad faith to me, and is pretty,
Yeah, I don't.
pretty well mannered.
I think I'm more confused. Not confused, but I kind of see the reason why he would need to draw like this parallel to us and say, "Oh yeah, like you guys are doing the same thing."
Yeah, same foot.
Because they can't understand that people are really living life without like this faith in a supernatural being or faith at all, right? I think that's the end of this like belief system, is people trying to understand how others are living life without faith. And that, I feel like that's really like one of the last blocks to break down.
That's it. See, I see it the other way. I mean, I see what you're saying. Like, I see how people could think that, but I see it as more. There's a Philbroad term. It's called like a tu quoque, which is like basically like you're doing that too, right? Like that to me is what it is. Like it's just as simple as that. Like, yeah, I have this, bad faith or bad unreliable system for my belief, but you do too, right? To me, that's all it is trying to not like. I can't imagine somebody not thinking this way. It's more like trying to pull your epistemology down to their level.
Right. I think the way I'm seeing it that way is because I'm coming from a believer's mindset. Like I'm coming from somebody that wholeheartedly believes this stuff and has lived their lives surrounded on faith. Like if for somebody like him that is keeping his decorum, I think that's where the problem is, trying to make lines where there are no lines. It's like, well, I've been in this so long, there's no way other people like can live without it. Like as a believer, I couldn't understand that. And I think that like, to me, that's where that's coming from.
Do you agree, Son of Kalu?
Yeah.
Me, that's how you think.
Yeah, I was going to agree with what Ria just said. I think, too, like a question I was going to ask him is that if expecting the sun to rise is faith, what would non-faith knowledge look like? Like, what would that, explain that to me? Because we're not talking about things that we know or things that we are confident in accepting as true just because we want them to be true. There's actual demonstrable shared objective evidence that the sun is there. I just feel like it's these, like what Ria was saying, like people just can use words in ways that are convenient to protect their understanding, but it doesn't necessarily use them accurately.
Son of Kalu, go ahead.
Yeah, that whole like is do you have faith that the sun will rise again tomorrow? That's I hate that shit because it's like I don't have faith in that. Who cares though? At the same time, like who cares if the sun doesn't rise again tomorrow?
Right.
What am I going to do about it?
Then.
I can't do nothing about it. I probably won't be here because there's a reason for that. But I think it was a self-soothing tactic for him to say it in that way. But I really wish I could have asked him earlier because like when you're doing something for the first time, you're probably going to plan around it. You're going to try to be prepared. But there are things that you don't know that might happen. You can only plan to try to avoid things, but it goes back to like having to react regardless because you don't know everything.
Yeah.
And then that's what led me to thinking like, okay, but God knows everything. And instead of the God being proactive, he tends to be reactive. Like after Adam and Eve ate the apple, he was like, oh, what have you guys done? What's going on? How do you know you're naked?
Yeah.
Like, why are you reacting to it? Why didn't you prepare for this already? But that's just all that's been sitting in my head the whole time I've just been listening to that conversation is like, I can't keep feeling like Christians aren't aware of the all-knowing aspects of the God, but then like providing excuses like, no, that's man's fault. God couldn't control that. But like, he knew everything. He laid all this out. Like, what are we talking about?
That's the function of the God.
Mm-hmm.
It's a placeholder for them. And then it just conflates so many things that we just know in life. That would be like me saying, kind of circling it back to what we were talking about a minute ago with the faith thing. That would be like me saying, I have faith that when I turn on the light switch in my office, my lights are going to come on. I don't have faith. I pay my fucking bill.
Right.
I know how electricity works. And if it doesn't come on, then I have some problem solving steps that I can take because there's a mechanism I'm aware of. That's not faith. It's just not.
And when that light goes out, you replace it.
Exactly.
Shit, Kylo, look, the way I was brought up, sometimes I still have some trauma. When I click the light switch, it might not turn on.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Sometimes it don't work.
Real life shit.
Mm-hmm.
Selena, Auntie Charlene, Lord. Oh, go ahead, son.
I was just saying that's all I had. You read it.
Selena, Auntie Charlene, Lord. Any thoughts?
I'm with Fee. Can you show me a non-faith based belief if you think that everything is based on faith? Because a Christian told me one time, well, do you have faith that your chair is going to hold you when yeah, I do, because I bought the one that say hold up to 500 pounds because I'm a big fat funky rubber leg. I know it's going to hold because I paid extra, so it's going to hold my fat ass.
Yo, Lord.
So what is a non-faith based idea or belief that someone has? If everything is faith based and you can't really count on anything, like what is a non-faith based belief that you have?
I don't know if they think one exists.
Have they even been? I agree. Like, have they even thought about that? Like, thought outside the box like that? Are they allowed to?
That's my point. Like, they don't see it no other way. That's why they have to draw these parallels to say, oh yeah, when you sleep, then that's faith. What? No. Sometimes I be hoping, it don't work.
But the thing is, that's really not even faith because you're not dead. Right? I wake up multiple times a night to go my ass to the bathroom. I wish I didn't have to do that.
They think you're dead. They think sleep and death are the same thing.
Yeah,
they think that's pretty much the same.
Sorry. There were two guys up here the other day, and they were talking about, like, I think one of them was AC. And the question was like, do you think God wakes you up? And I said, I knew he would say no. And then there was another guy, and I knew he would say yes. You could tell by how they reason and how they discuss these things, whether they actually like understand what sleep is. right? And what kind of like connection to reality they have. Like, I think AC has a more grounded connection to like reality than a lot of the Christians we end up encountering. Because like you hear a surprising amount of people like not understanding just what sleep is, and they think it's something you have to be like saved from. Like, it's so wild to me.
Which you know it's not true. Last Monday, Sunday night, I don't know, for some reason my sinuses were just tearing me up, and I did not sleep. I tossed it. I probably woke up 10 times, right? That's a sign that I am not dead, because I couldn't breathe. I had to wake my ass up and be like,
my bladder is God.
like, you have to do something about this, right? It's crazy that they think they're just like if they didn't wake up in the morning, the people could just transfer them from their bed to their casket. No, it's crazy that they think that.
But that's honestly. Oh, go ahead, Fee.
I was just going to say, if this were 1910, 1920 or something like that, and people just did not have access to information, I can understand that. But in this day and age, we know how we can learn, we can learn how things work. And it's usually the people who don't put in the effort to learn how things work. Even if you don't believe it, just learn it to debunk it. Learn it so you can speak about it intelligibly. My nephew sent me I think it was a Facebook reel or something the other day. He was like, "Oh shit, my mind is blown." And it was some goober talking about if the sun is a big ball of fire and there's no oxygen in air, then how is it on fire? And my nephew was like, "Oh yeah, I hadn't even thought about that." I'm like, sit your stupid ass down and go to Khan Academy. Because if you send me something like this again, we are going to fight physically. Because it does not take a lot to do the research.
The sun is fire.
Yes.
You know what's so funny?
Well,
you know what's
like
more
who
funny
put the
than
wood
that?
there?
Exactly.
You know what's more funny than that is that imagine you being, I don't know, a 20-year-old, 21-year-old. You at your friend's house, right? And you tell your friend, man, you show your friend, look at this. Can you believe? And then Fee is your friend's mama, and she comes out there with her calm voice. Man, sit your stupid ass down and go to Khan Academy. Like, what? What? I would love that. I would love that as a fucking child, right? I would be like, and she was just as sweet calling me stupid. I feel honored, right?
The revered designation.
It's so easy. When I was coming up, we didn't have all this kind of shit. Like, knowledge is at the tip of your fingers. It's literally at the tip of your fingers. It's in your back pocket, and you don't want it. You don't want it.
Lawrence, I think that's why I get mad. Like, y'all niggas never had to use the Dewey Decimal System. Do you know how those cards used to fuck us up? To just find the right encyclopedia? And then we never had a full set. The J was always missing. Like, I just...
Always missing. The thing is, one time, my brother, and my mama didn't know this, he tore the pages out of the encyclopedias for his science project.
Who hasn't done that?
My mama was hot as hell. Well, see, she didn't know he did it because it was 6 of us, right? So we had to wake up so early to go to school that while she was combing our hair, they was doing stuff, like a lot of stuff was going on. And he got an A on the science project. And when he came home and showed it to my mama, she didn't say congratulations. She didn't say this nice work. She said, "Is that our fucking encyclopedia?" Baby, they don't understand having to go to the library to get things. It's crazy that y'all don't want to know stuff, and it's right there at your fingertips.
That ain't nothing. Try trying to buy a set of encyclopedia. You can only afford to buy one at a time.
Listen,
you get them.
I'm just saying.
I mean, damn. I can't do that report because we ain't got that encyclopedia yet. Y'all know I don't pay no attention.
But you know what? That's okay because People on our street did that. So, one family had the first half, the other family bought the second half, and you just went down the street.
And you share it.
See,
That's true. That is true. Made it do what it
We don't
do.
have community like that anymore because everything's at. You don't got to go borrow a cup of sugar no more, you know. Just hit up your neighbor. Hit up the internet.
I'm about to say, I think at this point it's a little too late because I think it's just too many people right now relying on conspiracy theories and they trying to hide that from us. They trying to hide that from us. But it's right there on Google. It's right there.
Right.
Because there's no other way to claim, they hiding it from us. If I look at the motherfucker yesterday was talking about the Vatican is hiding all the proof of the
remember that?
I used to be that person who'd be like, it's in the catacombs underneath the city.
You can access it.
But you know what? This is the question I asked, and they couldn't answer it. What benefit would it be for a church? Let's talk about the Catholic Church. For a denomination that is hell-bent on controlling everything, to hide the one thing from you that will make their control 100% complete. Because if they knew that God and Jesus were real, and they could give you niggas proof that it was, that would be the end. The control.
Lord, you don't understand. You don't understand. Tom Hanks is trying to tell us something.
Exactly.
You don't get it. The Da Vinci Code is real.
I heard Tom Hanks. I didn't believe it.
Jesus got a daughter walking around here somewhere. It's not that they. It's not that.
Wait, what you say?
Real.
What you say? Jesus got a daughter.
I said Jesus got a daughter walking around here somewhere. He got a whole family line. You ain't know.
I wonder what's her name. Jesusina.
Jesusina is crazy.
Justina.
Yeah.
But it's the point that they hiding it because it's not gonna prove them right. It's gonna prove that it's all a lie. That's why they hide it. That's the theory. That's the they found stuff that will disprove their belief.
I refuse to have a conversation.
How tiny and dumb is Jesus that they hiding him?
He could be like Humperdinck.
That's because the children of Lilith don't want you to know. Okay?
I also think we should refuse to have this conversation with anybody that can't tell us what continent the Vatican is on. Because y'all don't know.
Oh, God.
It's pointless at that point.
Listen, I thought I heard everything until that girl got on Be Easy's live and said that we are actually from Antarctica by way of South Africa.
Man,
oh damn!
Please.
She said we are actually Antarcticans.
And said it several times.
Yeah, we are not.
Broke it down.
And then she came back on Bars Live.
And said
with the same thing. And said it again.
I think America got in there at some point, didn't they?
But what? Okay, are we living behind the wall in Antarctica? Because if we behind that wall, then I understand.
The North
well, damn, yeah.
This is something that she kind of came up with on her own through her research, she said, but the research brought her to Antarctica. Now, I've heard Black people say that I'm Native American.
She said that's why
I'm from the Levant, that I'm Egyptian. That's the first time I ever heard a Black person say that they are Native Antarctican.
The fuck is in Antarctica? What the fuck are we gonna go do over there?
I have
no, it's the wall. Y'all thinking of the white.
No.
You got to go on the other side of the wall in Antarctica where all the people are living and they have.
Miss Charlene, if you've ever seen a documentary about how the people at the weather stations have to live in it. They have to actually save their waste.
Yeah.
And I watch it all the time.
because they can't dump it in Antarctica. They have to save their bodily waste and ship it out because they can't dump it in Antarctica. So
And
right
if something
now,
bad happens,
But see, what you're not understanding, though,
That's what you're gonna
Lord,
see.
if what you're not understanding is on that side of the wall, it's like that. But if you
but on
can
our
ever
side,
get behind on the other side of the wall, I was trying to tell y'all, you wouldn't let me talk.
I just want you to know,
On
Miss
the other
Charlene,
side,
that on the side of the wall she thinks that we're from, there is a shit ship riding around somewhere with human shit on it, trying to figure out where to dump it. I'm just
Shit ship is crazy.
well, if it's in Antarctica, it got shit suckers on it.
That's what I'm saying. It's a shit ship
Hey,
riding
yo,
around
silly.
somewhere with old food and old shit on it, going to dump it.
Give it to him raw. Hi, did you mean to come up on the panel? And if so, what is your religious affiliation or lack thereof?
I did mean to come up, and I'm a non-believer, but I just had come up. I think I understand that other guys.
You say
I think
you
I speak
didn't,
his
or you
language.
did mean to come up? I apologize.
I did. I did
Oh,
mean
okay,
to come up.
okay. And are you 21 and older?
I am.
Okay, yeah. Okay, go ahead. Share your thoughts.
Yeah, I just wanted to share my thoughts. I think his hook was the fact that we can't know the sun 100% is coming up tomorrow. What he was trying to do is no matter how small the percentage of something that could happen that will make the sun not come up tomorrow, he's saying that since you don't have 100% proof, that you have to have how much small degree of belief or faith, no matter how small. And he was trying to compare it to believers to say that even though we have no percentage of degree that we just believe and have faith that it will come up, but there's maybe a 1% or 0.00001% chance that what we believe will come true. I think he was just he was using that as a hook just to make that comparison. What do y'all think about that?
Yeah, I just think it was a huge too okay. I just think it was like, so do you. Like I'm doing this thing. I admit that, but you are too. You don't see it.
Yeah.
Like it's just a crab bucket or bucket crab, right? Just trying to pull it down to like his level. To me, that's all it was. It's a very common.
Absolutely.
tactic.
Yeah, and I agree. I believe, I just wanted to get up here and share. I thought that's what, he was saying and trying to, say that even though we just have this 0% faith belief, that we still believe that 0.001% chance that it can come true.
I think,
but I believe they believe it's larger than that.
The word faith for me is what I have the issue with. It's not faith-based, right? I think that's my issue with him and what he was saying. I don't believe science is faith. It's, when right, Rhea. Like when I think about, and I don't disagree with you. I agree with what you're saying. It's just, when you say faith, you're saying that you don't have any evidence. You're hoping for something. I don't hope that the sun comes up tomorrow, right? And I think that's where the big difference is. I don't hope for. Look, man, I got my nose stuffed right now. It keeps dripping.
It sounds like you're holding it.
It's because I got tissue in it. It's Mac's fault.
Not true.
It is.
It's weird that you were fine when you left.
It's weird that
and I don't believe
I got there. I was.
I don't. Hold on, Mr. Raw. Hold on.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, like, I don't believe in that. I don't believe that it's a faith operation that we're running here. When it comes to science, and kind of everything that Lawrence and Fee and Rhea and Mac, everybody, explain, right? It's evidence-based. We can look at the past and use the past as an indicator for the future. Religion doesn't
allow for that. It doesn't allow for, really any ambiguity. It says this is what's going to happen. It is what's going to happen. Blah, 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 blah. Right? With no evidence whatsoever, And I think that's my big issue.
Yeah, and I'm with you. I believe science is not faith-based also. But what I think he was attacking was whatever that percentage is that we don't know. He was attacking that and saying that it has to be a certain amount of belief or faith in that. And so he was trying to compare that with their non-belief.
There is no faith in that. It's not faith. It's evidence-based. It's not hoping that it will happen. It is using patterns and going from that, right? That's where I think we disagree.
Right.
I agree. I agree with you.
Whatever percentage you're referring to, we're not appealing to that. He was talking about that.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. He was. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. I don't agree with him, by the way. I'm just saying.
No, I understand.
But I think.
Well, hoping for me
Uh-oh.
is me trying to get in the shower and not step on my titties. I be hoping.
I'm sorry.
Lord have mercy.
I'm fucking weak.
Lord have mercy.
That's all.
I hope that I don't step on my titties. Lord have mercy. Free the yitties.
I know, right? I try to put them on my shoulder, but sometimes they drop down. I may get them tell. I'm sorry.
Please. Go ahead, give them to me, Rob. What were you saying?
Yeah. I was just saying, no, I don't agree with him either. But I was just saying that's the thing that he was pushing when I was listening to him, which which really don't make very much sense. But
I think he was conflating what we believe, though. Like he was putting the wrong label on it. And I think to Mac's point, right? Like he was like, no, you guys are the same as me. You guys have faith too. You just see it differently. You're naming it differently. You're labeling it differently. When no, it's very different. It's not the same as what you're talking about. You know what I mean? It's not even close to what you're talking about.
Right. Yeah. And I just came to share that, but I think you all do an excellent job. I'm big fans of all y'all, and y'all
Read this super chat real quick. Shout out Il Doctorin. Il Doctorin says, I trust science where it works, explaining and predicting the physical world. I trust religion where morality works, meaning, dignity, and how to live. Treating religion as failed science misunderstands both. Shout out to you. Powerful statement right there.
To him all the time.
Gosh. I'm telling y'all. 4 days ago, I was not like this. I wasn't.
Okay.
As soon as I come back home.
What are you taking for us, Zing?
I haven't taken anything yet. I'm gonna go to the store later on and go get some Zyrtec or some shit. I got some Affirm, and the only thing about that is it dries my nasal passages so goddamn much. Like it works, but golly.
Yeah, the problem with Afrin is it usually leaves you worse off after. So you have to take it in like limited doses, like only when you really need it. Because there was a singer, Scott Weiland from Stone Temple Pilots. He got like addicted to it because he, being a singer, he had to keep his, his vocal pathways open, right? Nasal sinus and all that stuff. So he would use the Afrin and then get through the show, and then the next day he's like worse. So you just have to keep, because it's like a cycle.
Yeah, like today's the first day I've been using it since I got it that last time, but like I think I had to blow my nose a little too much, so it's probably not. I probably don't keep it in there. long enough before I'm like, my nose is like dripping. It's gross. Gross. All right, well, if that's all the conversation we had today, I say it was a damn good one. I have no problem with that. None at all. Right, it is. It's no joke. Clearly. All right, guys. Well, I thought I had jury duty today, but apparently I have to call like a hotline or something, and then they tell like,
yeah, you're on standby.
Yeah. So I don't have to call in till tomorrow, which is interesting. I was like, okay. That's cool. I don't know how I feel about being a civil servant. Guess I'll like it. I don't know. The lady, she was like, make sure you bring a jacket. It's going to be cold. I was like, ma'am.
Then all you got to do is tell them you don't believe in God. They won't pick you. They send your ass right on home. You know, when they be asking you the questions.
I'm an atheist.
Yeah, seriously.
I never even thought of that. I just told them I don't trust cops, and that worked for me.
That'll work. Something outrageous like that, they'll send you home.
Well, outrageous had a story to go with it.
Oh God.
I kind of want to do it. I'm nosy. I want to know what's going on in my city.
But that's only if you get a good case.
I'm about to say, do you get to pick your cases?
$25
No, you don't. You don't get to pick your cases.
Really?
No, there's like a pool for all the cases, right? So if they don't pick you, that's it. Like,
because all I gotta hear, he right. I'm guilty.
Guilty, bitch.
Guilty.
I know that's right.
Straight to jail for your ass.
She let the child sleep in the same bed. Guilty.
Guilty. Jail immediately.
Guilty.
Ma'am, that's not how it. Nope.
The judge is gonna be like, no, hold on. No. We don't need none of that.
They may not pick you. The only time I've been picked,
I gotta get out of here, y'all.
federal, state, and like my municipal